on time through this meeting today. And the meeting is being recorded. We're going to start the first 10 minutes or so with quick introductions. And I thought we would go in reverse order, reverse alphabetical order based on geography. So Sharon Bergman in Southeast, do you have a group gathered there?
No, I do not have a group gathered here, but I do have another member of the Sicker Rotary Club online, John Whitecamp, but he's in another area.
Good. I think what we'll do is go to our group meetings and then we'll ask individual people to say hello and where they are. So
Hey Sharon, I'm here too.
Matsu, Brenda, are you with us? Don't see that yet. Kenai, Jess?
Oh, there she is.
Good morning, we're here. Hello, hello. We're just trying to get some volume stuff going, so.
Good morning, Jess. How many people are with you there from?
Well,
the
we've
Kenai
got
Kodiak
myself
area?
and 3 others, Bernie from Homer, Mark from Soldotna, and Lindsay from Soldotna Club.
Great, excellent. And in Fairbanks, we don't yet have our AG, but we do have 3 people plus me, and I'm going to see if you can hear them when they introduce themselves. So speak loudly and say who you are.
I'm Leslie Young, Fairbanks. Good morning, my name is Melody Debenham and I'm with the Golden Heart Rotary Club here in Fairbanks.
And I'm Andre, past assistant governor from Fairbanks Sunrisers.
So were you able to hear them? Put your thumbs up if you could hear them. Oh, excellent. That's good to know. And I already introduced myself, Patty Merritt. And then in Anchorage, Amy. Do we have our Anchorage group? I see Mike Ferris and Amy. And how many people are with you there?
4 people on.
You come in muted, so you'll have to unmute for us to hear you.
Cold air again. I don't know why.
Hi, good morning. We've got our DG, Mike Ferris, and our past president, Anchorage South, Chris Gray, our president-elect, Dan Newman, and Matt Peterson, president-elect for Russian Jack. And then online, we've got a few other PEs and Jay Tung I saw, and who else?
I'm here, Amy. This is
Oh,
Denise.
Miss Denise Kipke, yes.
Annie.
PEE, yep.
Okay,
Oh, and
I was
Penny,
going to go
Penny,
around to
Penny
the people who
Palmentier
are
is
Zooming.
here. Yep, with Hillside.
I'm just asking you to introduce people in your area there, and then
Oh,
we'll
sorry.
go around to individuals that are
Sorry, Patty.
Zooming in. No problem. We just had 2 more people join us here. I'm not sure who they are. I can see Audrey. With which club, Audrey? Sunrisers. We won't make any jokes about them having come in after 9 o'clock because she probably got stuck at our doorway. You have a complicated way to get in. And our AG, Bill Wright, is here. So
And
with
Patty,
that,
sorry, Patty, this is Cheryl. So I'm looking at the Matsu gathering. They're waving right now, and I know that we've got oh, there we go, a bunch of hands. So Assistant President Marty Metiva, my significant other and official valet, actually, and then Brenda Sheldon, our AG, as well as
there, I've got them.
and let's see, Aaron Moore. So it looks like there's about 6-7 people.
Yes, now I've moved to a second page here and we're getting a good look at the Susitna group. Thank you for that. And we have about maybe 25 other people here individually. I think maybe instead of doing individual introductions, what we'll do is I will call out your name. You can wave, and if you have something to say, put your hand up and we'll go from there. Janine is our co-host on this, mostly doing all the tech stuff, which I am so thankful for. You want to wave, Janine? All right, and Mark, I can't see your picture, but Mark Mestag is with us. And we've got Dick fixing a sound. There he goes. Hi, George.
Yeah.
George will be
Yeah,
giving a
just-
report.
Adding my hearing aids.
Great. George will be giving a report a little later. Michael Archer. We've got-
Mike South.
Thank you. We've got Lou and Nome.
Our internet's a little sketchy. We had a big windstorm, so I may be in and out. We're not sure.
Well, we're glad that you're with us now. John, is
Yes.
it wheat camp?
Greetings from Sitka.
Thank you. And Callie in Girdwood? Thank you. I couldn't hear you because of there. Want to try again?
I do. Greetings from Girdwood. Thanks so much.
Good. Alice. If you want to speak, you'll have to unmute. Still couldn't hear you, Alice. One more time, unmute. There
All
we
right, try third tries the time. Alice Edwards, I'm with the Juneau Gastineau Rotary. I'm secretary down here in Juneau.
Great. And there's DG, former DG Gail.
Hey, everybody, beaming into you today from Boise, Idaho.
All right. And Rosie, who has a report for us later. Love that background, Rosie. Maybe that's a photo you took.
It is. Good morning from
Morning,
Ketchikan.
Sharon. Sharon Dirtka.
Morning, good afternoon. It's Wisconsin.
Oh, lovely. And Lynn.
Hello, Lynn from Whitehurst. We're buried in the snow thanks to global warming again this year.
Good morning, Denise.
Yes, good morning. This is Denise Kipke, Anchorage South Rotary.
And Lauren.
Lauren Olson from Sitka, Alaska. I'm the president-elect.
Great. I hope we have a lot of PEs on. I think we do. And there's DG Cheryl, who spoke to us already about the wonderful mimosas she's sharing at her site. Anything else you want to add, Cheryl?
No, just good morning and welcome, everybody.
Good morning. And Joe in Susitna.
Morning, Joe Llewellyn, Susitna.
All right. And past DG Diane in Hawaii, I understand.
Aloha. It's lovely to see everybody's beautiful faces. Glad to be here.
And Lieutenant Governor Lisa in her cabin.
Hello, Lisa Phillips, West Illinois, Lieutenant Governor, and in about 3 feet of snow up here in Lake Louise.
And we've got DGN Mike Paulin on board.
Good morning, everybody, from sunny Fairbanks. Well, it will be sunny here, hopefully, in another hour. Anyway, nice to see everybody.
By the time we're done, we should see a little sun.
There you go.
John.
Yes. I'm John Connors in Boise, Idaho, like Gail Nepper, and we're having sunshine down here.
I have to say, you know, we all lament the fact that we're not meeting in person, but look at the number of people who can participate from a distance this way. I'm so glad that you're with us from Boise and Hawaii and all those places. Penny.
Hi, Penny Palmquist, PE for Hillside.
All right, let me see. I'm trying to get to my next page here. Elda.
Palmer.
Nice to see you. George in Texas.
Yeah, I'm with Hillside Club and here to support Andre in his discussion of the GNL.
Great. Kathy?
Hi, I'm Kathy Boucher from the Anchorage Downtown Rotary.
And here's another PDG, Michelle. I think I might have missed some as we were going along there, but I'll catch the ones I know.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, everyone. Great to see you all.
And here's the man that's worth $1 million. Is it John? Jerry? Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
And Connie? And PDG Ted Trueblood?
Hello, everybody.
And we've got Rick Schmidt.
From Anchorage International, good morning.
Good morning. And Kate Ripley, I know she's PE of our Fairbanks Club.
Yep. Good morning, everybody.
Peggy Pollen, another PDG.
Good morning.
And my screen just went a little wonky on me. Gretchen.
Good morning, everyone from Fairbanks.
She'll be the incoming AG here. And Dan.
Good morning, everybody from Juneau.
Good morning, Kelly Larson.
Hey, everybody. I am in very snowy Willow, and I am from the Palmer Club and a good friend of Dee Dee Cheryl.
All right, Jay.
Hey, good morning, all. PE Anchorage International.
Thank you, John. John Pugh.
I'm John Pugh from the Juneau Club, head of membership here.
Kathy. Kathy Tim.
Hi, I'm in Wasilla, heading home in the car, and will be on my computer when I get home.
Well, we'll be glad to see you in either place.
Thanks.
So people are bumping around a little bit on my screen here. How about Melvin?
Hi, good morning. From the Wasilla Sunrise Rotary, and I'm also president-elect.
All right, and Dan?
Hi, from Juneau, under a lot of snow.
Okay, and I think I have another Dan too.
I'm here with Amy and the crew.
All right, and Alice?
Yeah, I'm down here in Juneau.
Rebecca?
I'm here in Girdwood.
And we've gone to page 3. So I'm looking, John Dyson.
Yeah, hi, John Dyson, president of Anchorage East.
And Elizabeth, incoming president of the wonderful College Rotary. Hi, Elizabeth. And Larry Daniels, Girdwood. Tom, now, because my screens jumped around, I could have missed somebody. So if I missed you, wave enthusiastically and hello to you. All right, we're here back on our #1 screen. I hope you all have a copy of the agenda that Cheryl sent out yesterday. My job as trainer is to try and keep us on target with timing. And our first report is from Cheryl, DG Cheryl, giving us an update on where we are now, and then district finances from George Elgie. If everybody would mute if you haven't already, except Cheryl, that will make our meeting go more smoothly.
So once again, everybody, good morning. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. I know that this is an annual event we normally hold in person, but how cool that we're able to do it the way we are. You know, when Mike Ferris and I talked about, you know, how do we do a hybrid, we said, well, it may not be smooth as silk, but it'll be as smooth as we're going to get it. So thanks again so much. So just a really quick recap of where I'm at as your district governor. I've done all in-person club visits except for Sitka. And with Sitka, we're kind of waiting to see what happens with COVID numbers, and hopefully I'll be able to get down there yet in the next 6 weeks or so. That's our goal. And then if we're still not able to go in person, then we'll do a virtual. But the highlight of my year truly has been visiting with each club, and in person, I'm having the opportunity to connect with members, with officers, and within the community in a really dynamic and vibrant way. And I will tell you that yesterday, I was kind of just reflecting on what has happened thus far this year. And truly, every one of our clubs has its own personality, its own ambitions. Some clubs have flourished in spite of the last, almost 3 years of COVID and virtual and all of that. We have clubs that are growing pretty dynamically. And then we have some of our clubs that are just struggling to hang on to maintain membership. We have many clubs that are still looking for that president-elect. And in spite of that, I feel really confident that we are stabilizing and we are sustaining ourselves as clubs and as a district. And I think that's the most important thing. So as I look out at all of you today, I just really encourage you, if your club has not selected a president-elect yet, that PE position is really important. It's important for our district because we, by our charter, need to have PEs in place going into pets, which is happening right now as a virtual experience. So if you have never served your club in the role, in any board role, but let alone president-elect, I encourage each and every one of you to really think about it, because I think it's a wonderful way to tip your toe in the water of Rotary, serve your club, and you would be surprised. When I first served as PE and president of Wasilla Noon Club, I never at that time ever expected to step forward in any kind of a district role, let alone district governor. So that was kind of the beginning of my journey with leadership in District 5010. And look where we are today. So pretty exciting stuff. I want to let you all know, past District Governor Joe Cashai has been leading a committee looking into our cybersecurity, getting us renewed with our insurance policies. He's doing a phenomenal job, and that is one of his areas of expertise. So by all means, I'd like to acknowledge PDG Joe for everything that he's been doing in that regard. Also, we have a committee we're putting together, and PDG Harry Keeling is going to be serving, as well as some others. And we're going to start looking at our manual of procedure and kind of reviewing our MOP and bringing it up to, standard to what it should be today. A lot of the districts in zone 28 and 32, of which we belong, zone 28 and 32, are in the same process. I think going through the last couple of years of virtual meetings has kind of given all of us pause to reflect and see where we're at with our policies and procedures. So that's another area that we're addressing right now and moving forward with. Your board of directors consists of the district governor line. So for all of you who may not be aware, that would be myself as the current DG, Mike Ferris is DG-elect, Mike Pollan is DGN, and Brenda Sheldon is DGD. And so the four of us are holding monthly meetings, and we're in constant communication. So you can be very confident that the leadership of not only your board of directors, but your district is in touch with each other. We're really looking at what's happening across the board, not only with our clubs in this district, but with Rotary in general. And then we have our Council of Governors. And the Council of Governors is made up of all of the past district governors who get together, offer advice, and are here to continue to serve as well. So it's a dynamic team, and you can be really confident in the leadership that's bringing us forward. I'd like to just address the fact, and I know that DGE Mike Ferris will be talking about this, but last year, as I was going into my year as district governor, we held a virtual PETS. We weren't able to meet in person in Seattle. And once again this year, the majority ruled that it would be another virtual experience. And, we do the best we can with that. For all of you out there who have served as president in the past, you know how dynamic PETS can be and how it really helps connect the lines and build network. And so one of the things that we decided when this decision was made by OPCOM is to hold a post-PETS at the district conference in Talkeetna in May. By doing so, it gives us the opportunity for all of our president-elects to come together. The majority were going to be in Talkeetna anyway. This is further reason to attend the conference in person and provide not only training, but that in-person experience of networking and connecting the presidents within our district, which is a viable resource as we move forward into the next year and years ahead. So there will be post-PETS on Thursday, which is normally our assembly day at district conference. And so that's going to be a great event. And we've decided, rather than having an assembly for club officers and a post-PETS for strictly president-elects, we're opening that day up to anybody and everybody in the district who would just like to learn more, tap into different leadership responsibilities, and kind of get up to speed to the various areas of leadership that are available to you. So anybody who wishes to pop in and start a little bit earlier than Friday, the hotel will have rooms available on Wednesday night. And then of course, you're welcome to pop in anytime Thursday and get engaged. So that's kind of what's happening with our post-president-elect training and a little bit of that assembly. I did reach out to our zone director, Valerie Wafer, to just kind of discuss where we're at with the international conference in Houston, which will be held in June. And at this stage, Houston is 100% in person. They are going to offer some virtual opportunity, it looks like. They're still kind of solidifying some of that, but they're very committed to this being an international conference in person, which will be just like our district conference, the first in-person international conference in 3 years. So pretty exciting. And we right now representing District 5010, our district, we have about 28 Rotarians that are scheduled right now and registered to attend district conference. So I'm really pleased with that commitment. And then I just want to remind all of you that, and you're going to be receiving an email from me, but there is a Zone 28 and 32 Foundation Virtual Gala, which will be coming up, I believe on February 23rd. You'll have more details to follow, but that is going to be virtual. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm told there's some pretty cool entertainment. And both PDG Diane Fegis and Andre Leral are both on that committee. So we'll be doing a little watch party with me, and they're going to come visit us in Alaska virtually. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And then I would lastly just like to touch on the fact that one of the subcommittees that I formed this year was the, how will I say this? Alaskan Stopping Human Trafficking. And this anti-trafficking subcommittee is just flourishing. And I would like to thank Carly Progrerski and Don Weiss, who stepped forward as co-chairs of this committee. Right now, they are beginning presentations at clubs, both in person and virtually. They have, I believe, 5 clubs scheduled right now for visits. And we are doing some great things, my friends. One of the things I'm pretty excited about is not only education with our fellow Rotarians on what is human trafficking and what are the signs to look for and how can we as Rotarians make a difference, but we're connecting agencies within the state of Alaska with our district so that now they are becoming aware of who we are and what our commitment is. And recently, the head of the FBI anti-trafficking unit spoke at Susitna Rotary, and it was a closed meeting. We weren't allowed to bring any guests because there were some confidential things discussed. But I will tell you this, Sergeant Tony is not only making a difference with his team, but he also is willing to speak to your club if you have interest in learning more. We sponsored a t-shirt. It's, I don't know how to describe it exactly, my friends, but across the front of it is a scan, if you will, and it's got the national hotline for anti-trafficking. And we were one of the sponsors of that t-shirt, which is all over the state of Alaska, where people can wear it if you're traveling, you're at the airport, or you're just going to be in a public place. If you were to come across somebody who potentially was being trafficked, they could take a look at the front of your shirt and scan that QR code and be given help on an immediate basis. So that's just another way that we're trying to reach out and make a difference. So that subcommittee is flourishing. And I think most importantly, my friends, we are flourishing. As a district, I am so confident about where we are as Rotarians and what we are doing in each of our communities. Right now, we have a group of Rotarians from our district that are at Project Amigo in Mexico. And so not only locally within your community, within our state, but also we are still reaching out internationally and building those relationships and truly, truly serving to change lives. So I thank all of you for joining us this morning as we move into the rest of our day. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And next we should hear from George Elgie. Cheryl, would you put in the chat some of those contacts for human trafficking? And George Elgie is going to give us an update on district finances. I understand there will be a more formal report later, but he's going to give us an overview now. Go ahead, George.
Okay. I thought there was going to be some graphics up there, but anyway, we're in good shape. We have about $629,000 in cash in the bank. The way Rotary works, we have 5 unique funds with 5 unique treasurers. I'm the district treasurer. There's a treasurer for each of like Youth Exchange, RILA, District Conference Grant Funds. And then I consolidate the financial statements and they are reviewed by an independent group of CPAs that are all Rotarians. We have about $500,000 of undesignated funds at this point in time. We've got some restrictions. We're required to have $125,000 of operating funds just per the MOP in reserves, and then we have some district excess reserves that the reserve committee has identified that they want to spend money on. And the financial statements you're looking at right now are December or 31st June 30th of last year. These will be introduced at district conference and go to RI after they're approved. Basically, there's nothing. There was very little activity on this. I'm going to the second page now. There's very little activity in RILA and Youth Exchange because of COVID, and obviously the district conference last year didn't happen. So the only real activity was in our operating funds, which are basically district governor travel and things like that, and some other activities which you will be told about. We also take care of Rotary Cares for Kids. That's run by the district. So we take care of all the funding and paying the bills and everything for that. Page 3, that's just a recap of the last 5 years of the DGs. The one on the far right is the last year's, Joe Cashai's year, and you compare it to the rest of them. So the last 3 years we've been, a little bit over budget, but that was on purpose. We are spending excess reserves, and those count towards the expenses when you do that. And the rest of it is just detail of the expenses, and you guys maybe we can get that out too if you want to see it. There's nothing nothing ordinary on there. The only thing is on the page 4.1 is the dues last year are significantly down because that's half the dues. As you remember, we suspended the dues for 1/2 of last year. That's the only significant thing. And we were, so if we'd have collected that, we'd have had 50,000 to the positive instead of a $7,000 negative. And that, now each one of these, we have a financial statement that shows the 5 years for like page 5 is Youth Exchange that shows the last 5 years. And as you can see in Joe's year, there was no activity, just zero because Youth Exchange is shut down. Same thing with RILA. Again, the last 5 years, and it shows it. So hopefully all these programs are together. District Conference, page 7 is exactly the same thing. No activities last year. You can look at the 4 preceding years. And grant funds, we do that. We get that grant funds are 50-50 to global grants, 50% to district grants, and those go out real fast. And the new presidents will be asking for their money there. So that is my overview. So Patty, that should do it for me, unless you guys, I doubt there's any questions, but be happy to field them.
Okay, well, I appreciate the fact that Rotarians are so good at staying on schedule. Makes my job so easy. If anyone has questions, we're kind of a large group. For that, I would suggest you get with George via chat or email. And I think he'll probably be able to monitor that. I see Cheryl's put up the human trafficking information there for us. So next we have Jeff Johnson talking about Youth Exchange, followed by Diane Figes on the foundation.
Hello, can you hear me?
We do.
Hello, everyone. I'm currently out of state, but I zoomed in to see you guys all. So I hope everything is good in Alaska. just a quick update on Youth Exchange. As you know, the last 2 or 3 years have been tough for Youth Exchange. We have not sent any kids out for the last 2 years. But we have recruited a few kids this fall to go out in the fall of next year of 22. So we're working with 6 kids currently that we plan on. Hopefully we'll be able to get them out with RI's approval. RI right now is saying that Youth Exchange can happen in the fall of 22. So we had some ambitious clubs that went out there and recruited some kids. So we do have a handful of kids that we will be sending out. We are working with our partners, districts abroad, to find places for them to go. There does seem to be a pretty high excitement level about getting Youth Exchange going again worldwide. So I think we'll hopefully, if nothing changes tremendously with the virus, we will have some kids out this fall, and in turn have some kids in also this fall, which will be a kickoff to getting our program going again, back to where it was. I think the last round of kids, we had 18, in the year before we had 21. So hopefully we can build that back. And I think it will come back pretty quick. So anyway, that's where we're at on Youth Exchange. I think most of the clubs that were in Youth Exchange last year, we did ask you to pay a club fee to Youth Exchange, but I returned the whole club fee back to everybody. So there was no cost to the clubs for Youth Exchange last year. I have been talking to Cheryl Metiva about having a small fee this year for the clubs that have been involved in Youth Exchange. I know it's mid-year, but with a few kids going out, there's always cost to a program. So don't be surprised if you don't see more about Youth Exchange here in the coming weeks. And I guess really with that, there's not a lot more to say. I'll be happy to answer any questions if people have questions specific about Youth Exchange. We do have a few short-term students or students that are interested in short-term program also, which is just our summer program where the families do a family-to-family exchange. So we will have a few of those this summer also, assuming that RI lets everything happen. So I think as you heard them speak prior to me, our budget has been pretty idle, although we do have some ongoing costs that we pay for every year, whether we send kids out or not. You know, we haven't had a lot of revenues and a lot of expenditures. So, but that will start to pick up this coming year, and then hopefully we can get fully back into swing of the program in the fall of 23. So we'll have kids out this year in the fall of 22, and then hopefully back to our full slate of 20 or 21 in the fall of 23.
And Jeff, are you expecting any inbound? Did I miss you saying anything about inbound this year?
Yeah, we will have, for every outbound that we have, we will have an inbound. So there will be inbound kids around. And so I can't promise in every area that kids will be in every region of our state, but we will have kids in the state, yes.
All right, and now is a participation time. So if you don't have your visual up, if you just have up your name, try and put your picture up for a minute, because I want to give Jeff a little feedback. My club agonized about whether or not to do inbound or outbound. We looked at budget. We just had a lot of concerns about COVID, but the board felt so strongly about how important this is that they made a statement about, we really support it. We're just not going to do it this year. And if your club is strongly supportive of Youth Exchange, you could give Jeff a little visual clapping here. Everybody here should be passing this along, and kudos, Jeff, for working through this program in very tough times. So thank you for that.
It's been a tough couple of years. Obviously, we like to see the kids coming in and going out. And when you don't get to do that, it's hard to keep the enthusiasm. But hopefully with a small group this first year, hopefully by the time we get around to this time next year, we will have a full slate of kids picked and be up and rolling again. So please, everybody, Youth Exchange isn't going away. It had to take a hiatus for a while, but we're coming back. So just know that we are going to need a little bit of support from you this Rotary year, the year that we're in right now. And then I will have a full budget out before pets so the incoming presidents will know what to plan for after the 1st of July. So just know that you'll see something soon about that.
Sounds great, and I hope you could see the enthusiasm with people's hands. And we'll
I
move
did
on
behind you,
to-
yes.
Move on to Diane for foundation.
Okay, hi, let me share here just a sec. Make sure I get the. Hope everybody is doing well. I am. Oops, sorry. Okay, well, we will start here. So you can see that this is about the Rotary Foundation. I'm from the Anchorage Downtown Club, but chair the Rotary Foundation for last year, this year, and next year. So as a snapshot, I just wanted to say and echo Cheryl, how great a job you guys are doing in your districts. Over the last 8 years, we have spent almost $2 million. I mean, including with the global grants, we probably are close to $2 million. And that comes from your donations to the foundation and also your matching foundation grants from your clubs. So just a note, this year we had 25 grants for district, and that totaled $87,000. And just a note from Paul Pasley, and he may be speaking this afternoon. He's traveling as well, so I'm not sure. But please close out as soon as you possibly can and upload your documents. So just saying it's paid and everything's done doesn't cut it. You have to go into matching grants and complete it. But some of the actual grants that we had include everything from scholarships to playgrounds and student reflectors, fencing for dog parks. I know that Ketchikan did a really great musical one last year and closed that out. Tennis court improvements. The clubs come up with such great ideas and you follow through on it. So thank you for all of that. The district grants, the hard deadline for this year is April 20th. So be sure that you presidents and PEs get together with your foundation chairs and your club members to come up with your idea for next year. And the matching grants will be followed. We'll see how much comes through from the prior year. The couple of years that rolls forward, we'll know our district designated funds for matching grants as of July 1. So we'll let you know what that is. But the committee will be meeting after April 20th to go through all of the applications. Global grants, we have the fetal alcohol is still in process. The COVID has really put a damper on it because nobody could travel, but we have our community assessment in progress. We're presenting to the special education teachers and hoping to get 2 or 3 of them interested in future diagnostics, and the Australians will come over in August is the thing. And the Mozambique Water for Life project, I believe, because they had 2 different presidents die of COVID over in Mozambique, I think that is on hold. Just an update on the polio. So the wild polio cases for Pakistan and Afghanistan, it's amazing that they are down to 1 in Pakistan and only 4 in Afghanistan. And I've made several presentations to the clubs, and it's the Afghanis, even with all of the turmoil that we had last year with the US pulling out, the Taliban and the tribes have allowed the women to go from place to place to continue inoculating. So Afghanistan only had 4 wild polio cases last year, which we were really, really close to being on the front lines of that. And I wanted to, I'll have a couple more pages, but I wanted to mention the gala again that Cheryl announced. This is a really easy way. If your goal is to have every Rotarian every year and you don't want to have a foundation fundraiser, this is a great way for people to get on, see what's going on in not only just our district, but the zones and the world. And Andre's got the information on that. And the Zone Summit for Life on Land, which is again a zone 28-2032, which is all of Canada, Alaska, and then it dips down into the Northwest and the Northeast. They will be here this next fall, September 3rd and 5th. So we expect 150 to 200 people from all over that zone area. And this is an opportunity to listen to other Rotarians from outside our district, meet them. We're going to do some special traveling with them. We have a train trip scheduled, and we're going to have dinners in the home. So those who are around the Anchorage area are interested in participating in dinner in the home, let me know. Okay, I'm going to stop this share and start another one.
Okay, Diane, could you clarify the date on that? On the screen, it says November, and I thought I heard you say September.
Oh, sorry, it is November. Yeah, it's right there. November
Okay.
3rd. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was a good update on our foundation, and we are actually a few minutes ahead of schedule, which is always great. In my profession as a teacher, I've been told that adults can only attend for about 15 minutes without a little more activity or a little more participation. And since we have about 5 minutes here, I'm going to suggest everybody stand up and reach up and turn around and touch your toes. Andre's going to lead us in the hokey pokey, but if you don't want to do all that, at least take a couple of deep breaths so that your mind gets refreshed and you're ready to move on to the next. Our next presentations are going to be from our AGs, and we're going to do them in alphabetical order by region. So we'll go Anchorage, Fairbanks, Kenai, Mat-Su, and then Southeast. And they're each just going to spend a couple of minutes talking about the projects and the activities in our regions around the state. So with that, let's get started with Amy in Anchorage. Oh, they're still stretching. We're seeing you wave, but we're not hearing anybody talk. Is Anchorage ready here to give us a little, Amy's up. Amy and Mike, we're having a little discussion there about who's on top there with the microphone. We see you. We see the microphone. We're not hearing anything.
Okay, can you hear me?
Very little. It's very faint. Can you get quite close to the microphone?
Hello?
A
Hello?
little bit. That's good.
Oh my
Very close.
gosh. Okay, I'm
be
gonna have to
very
eat it
close
this
to
morning.
those.
Yeah, good morning. All right, so Anchorage, as AG for the Anchorage area, I work with 9 of the presidents and president-elects. And to give you a little bit of what's going on, most of our 9 clubs are meeting virtually or hybrid now. Attendance in Zoom seems to remain steady for these clubs that are virtual only. We have 4 of the 9 clubs meeting in person, and we would love if any of you are in Anchorage during any of these to pop in if you're comfortable doing that. We've got Hillside that meets first and third Thursday evenings at 6:30 at St. Coyote on Diamond. Russian Jack meets Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. at Lakeshore Hotel. South is Thursdays noon every week at Alturo Bistro. They're on the corner of Tudor and Old Seward, and they do Zoom as well. Downtown meets Tuesday at noon down at the Denina Center. They're also hybrid, and many weeks they've got 30 members attending online, as well as 30 to 40 in person. Our membership, as along with the entire world right now, we're struggling with membership, but our smaller clubs have worked really, really hard since July 1st to increase their membership in order to maintain their club status. For several years now, I've worked with our presidents and president-elects to look at different ways of adding membership with either family or corporate, and that seems to have worked really well with a few of the clubs. Several of them have actually mentioned that they would be happy to join with another small club so that they can be stronger, utilize the fundraising ideas and things like that. So that we may see something like that in the future. Projects, an idea of what our projects are doing. Anchorage East has the mobile food pantry the second Saturday of the month at the Fairview Center. It's really been a fun, collaborative event for other clubs to join in and participate in that. International provides meals for the Clare House. They've gathered books to donate to the Alaska Child and Family, as well as President Rick has reached out to all of the clubs and encouraged them to donate books to the tidal wave in the name of Alaska Child and Family. And that way they gain credits, those families gain credits to go to tidal wave and get books. Midtown is very active with the Eagle Scouts, provide scholarships for one Eagle each year. They worked with for several years in Ecuador for an international project and continue with that with enthusiasm. Girdwood is very active in their small community. To name a few, they sponsor the mobile mammogram truck yearly. They work the parking lot for the Forest Fair. They do garbage pickup at least once a year, and they hand out food at their food pantry in Girdwood. Anchorage South, they hand out food to seniors at Chugach View Manor weekly. They work with Alaska Medical Missions, loading medical and dental supplies on pallets, and we load the Connex to head to Haiti for hurricane and earthquake relief. They have donated turkeys to Chinook Elementary, their school of sponsorship, for years at Thanksgiving. And then this year they're going to have a for rendezvous. They're going to be in the for rendezvous parade and invite all of our our rebounds and our current outbounds to for youth exchange to participate. So that'll be this year at Ferrandi. We've got 3 kiddos from the Anchorage area that will be sponsored by Downtown, East, and South. And for all of you that raised your hands and said you support Youth Exchange, if you are in the Anchorage area, please lift up your hands when our inbounds come, because something as simple as going for a drive down Turnagain Pass would be an experience for these kids. So remember that they're all our kids. They're not just the kids of the sponsored clubs, and that's what's going on in Anchorage. Thank you.
Okay, well, I've been given the go-ahead to just continue right along here with the northern region to recap. Thank you, Amy, that was awesome. To recap for what the northern region is, it's kind of scattered across the state to some extent. We have 5 Fairbanks clubs, plus we have the Barrow Nuvik Club, as well as Nome, and then the District E Club. And I see there's a few participants from the E Club on here today, which is also great. Barrow, well, I tell you, most of the clubs have been holding their meetings just fine. Barrow has been struggling to hold their meetings in person, but they do have they've added a couple of new members, which is exciting, and their fundraisers, though, have been postponed further for the last couple of years due to the variants and the extended pandemic that we've all been dealing with. Like I say, there's clubs meeting in person 100%, some that are doing hybrid, and believe it or not, the E Club is 100% virtual. And then North Pole, I can tell you, has been doing great with their annual Christmas stockings. They stuffed them with necessities for the homeless and struggling teens. And their big capstone giving is their annual career and technical scholarships that they award to seniors at North Pole High School. And their Christmas stocking project is also partnered with local 17-mile hole makers who actually sew those stockings for them. The Fairbanks Club is working on the Chena River Run. They've shifted into that time of year. The Chena River Run, I believe, will be happening on May 7th. So that will be the first time in a couple of years that major event has been held. And there's some excitement building around that to bring that back into the community. It has been sorely missed. The College Club continues with their Kenya sister club. In Africa, they're providing them food to literally prevent starvation over there. They've had some unexpected events. Their president died, and they're trying to keep that club strong and get to the basics of help by giving them some food and providing them support. They also have right here in the state the Rural Book Project, which is another powerful piece of literacy where they're able to get, College Club is able to get books into classrooms across the state that may not have those as well. Let's see, the Golden Heart Rotary Club right here in Fairbanks, they've been having their meetings every other week, both in person and virtual, and they do a service project once a month. They're incorporating fun as much as they can and social events into their meetings when they can. And they were also able to successfully hold their summer kids running club through the pandemic this past summer. So that's great to keep the kids healthy and out, even in spite of the challenges we've all had. The Sunrisers Club has been expanding their South Davis Park, partnering with Tanana Youth Sports and the Fairbanks North Star Borough. Their meeting schedule is still every Friday in person here in Fairbanks, and they're also looking forward to participating in Youth Exchange this not this year, but the following year. So getting back on track for that. Haven't heard much from Nome other than that they have been meeting in person. Things seem to be going along quite well for them, and if anyone on here needed to share something in chat about how the E-Club is going, that would be fine too. But that's essentially our report. I do want to take this moment to introduce you all, if you don't know, to Gretchen Gordon. She's taking my place in July as the Northern Region AG. So thank you, Gretchen, for stepping up and serving Rotary in that capacity. And that's my report.
Okay, I think I'll just step in right away. Patty, is that good?
That is good. I was going to say we had a little technical problem here, but now that you're up, it looks like it's fine. So
okay. Well, my name is Jess Gutzweiler. I'm the assistant governor for the Kenai Peninsula and Kodiak area. That includes 2 clubs in Kodiak, 1 in Homer, 1 in Seward, 2 in Kenai, and 1 in Soldotna. So similar to Bill, cover a pretty wide area. We had wonderful club visits from DG Cheryl, and those were all in person and this summer/fall. So that was nice. We have also a big success that all of our clubs have a PE, and they will be going through virtual pets. So happy to say that. Our clubs have been active in community service projects, even through the pandemic, from building blessing bags, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, which is a very competitive sport here in the peninsula. The food banks across the region have been widely supported through all of our clubs, along with women resource shelters, Love Inc., Empty Stockings, along with many other nonprofits that aren't listed. Our fundraisers have also been successful through the Homer Health Fair. The Kenai Peninsula Beer Fest went on last August very well. The Kenai Club does Flocking Flamingos, which is a fun fundraiser where they put flamingos in your yard and you have to buy insurance or pay for them to be removed. And they do that for businesses too. So if you have somebody you want to hit in the peninsula, let us know. Pancake Feeds down in Homer. Seward has done a great job with their golf tournament through COVID and are planning on having a Kentucky Derby party. The Kenai River Club did the Unity Run, and coming up, if anyone wants to travel to Homer, there's a Cranium Cup next weekend during the Homer Winter Festival. So just a lot of great fundraisers, and proud to say that things have continued to move forward even through the pandemic. They've been creative in ways of taking events outside or being safe throughout that. Our membership honestly has been flat. We've had several clubs that have had members that have been just a member on paper and not really active for a long time that have dropped. But we have added new members that have added a lot of value to the club. So all in all, I would say membership is flat across the Kenai Peninsula and Kodiak area. Most of our clubs have stayed face-to-face, some going virtual when needed through the pandemic, but really trying to keep as many members engaged through fellowship, as that's a huge part of what Rotary is on the peninsula. Soldotna will be participating in Youth Exchange, and as Bill mentioned, the Rural Rotary Reading Program, Homer has participated in that with the Russian schools. So that's what we have going in the Kenai Peninsula.
Where's your pig?
Pig is at home, but there's more to come on that with the shelter box update.
Okay.
And Brenda and Matsu, you're up next.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you, Patty. I'll let all of you know what's going on here in the Matsu and Eagle River. And I'll start with our Wasilla Sunrise Rotary Club. This club gets up early and meets Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. and you can see some examples of what they do for service projects in our community. Just recently, if you look at their Facebook page, you're going to see that they did Valentine's bags for youth in our area. And we want to thank them. They've got a wonderful Facebook presence. And they, like other clubs, did work around the holidays, impactful work, adopting a family over the holidays. Next slide. Our Wasilla Noon Rotary, who meets Wednesdays at noon, has been very busy. Their large fundraiser for the year is Rotary Uncorked and is an example of numerous clubs working together for the good of our community, and the funds that they raise do so many things. You'll see that they did some free activities over the holidays when kids aren't in school and the parents need something for them to do, an open swim, a movie, an open skate, and that large activity Rotary Uncorked that they do also helps them do their scholarship program. Next slide. Susitna Rotary, they meet in the evenings. The fun club that meets here at the Extreme Fun Center with a few libations. And I would also like to thank them for the morning mimosa. A very active group. They also adopted a family over the holidays. They did a lunch with Santa. They have member education talks where they get to introduce new members as well as existing members to Rotary. They also have a water safety program that's been going on for some time, which includes Josh the Otter, and a large project, which if you are driving down the Parks, driving north on the Parks Highway from the valley and heading toward Fairbanks, you would see the Houston Rotary Park. And I hope you look to the left when you're heading north, you're gonna see a giant Rotary wheel. It's something to be very proud of. And we're so grateful for that club for doing that. Next slide. Palmer Rotary. Palmer meets on Thursdays at noon, and I am a Palmer Rotarian. And we, every holiday, the 5 holidays that are celebrated, we do community flags. So we take the American flag and we put it up in a number of businesses. And we are working very hard right now in a renovation for our tennis courts that does involve more than one club. We are doing this with the Sunrise Club, and we are trying to do better for the youth in our community. But we've also done some volunteerism and other park improvements. Next slide. Eagle River Rotary. Eagle River has the meetings on Fridays at Pomodoros every other Friday. They have done recently an adoption also. They adopted a family of 7. And so we congratulate them for doing that over the holidays, and have done things over the years and for some time, like the middle and high school student recognition program. And most, if you're recognizing Kiva, they are one of the clubs that has a Kiva program. And if you ever want to know any more about Kiva and the microloans, Ruth, who is their current president, would be someone to reach out to and learn more about that. And next slide. So what I want to talk about now is what we do as a unit. And when I hold my AG meetings, I always have at the top of it a community of Rotary, because we work very well together and do a lot of things together. In November, we did a night at the movies and fundraised for Rotary International. In October, we did Pints for Polio for World Polio Day. In July, we did Rotary Night at the ballpark. And we find that, more hands can do more good. And we continue to work very, very well together. I would also mention that our clubs are doing hybrids, such that if you were out, for example, in another country or in the lower 48, you could still zoom into any one of our meetings. as well as be in person. So we're very proud of the fact that we are all able to continue to be Rotarians virtually, as well as the fellowship that we can do one-on-one. I also want to, before I finish up, I also want to recognize our current presidents, Marty Metiva for Susitna, Linda Brandon for Wasilla Noon, Debbie Bushnell for Sunrise, Ruth Armstrong and Eagle River, and Les Hallfrank and Palmer. These are all returning presidents. This is their second year as president. They all stepped up and said, I see the need. This is a challenging time for Rotary, and became second-time presidents. They only did that because there was a need. And we all, this coming year, this next year, Mike's year, we have all new Rotary presidents for each of our clubs. So we're very proud of that. And I did want to recognize all of those for stepping up. And finally, with that, I want everyone to know that the Sunrise Club did something very unique. They had a point person, and that was Debbie Bushnell, but then they had 4 people step up and say, okay, I'm going to run the meetings for the quarter. And so no one person carried that load this year for them, and it worked very well. So please think outside of the box if you are challenged with what you might do for leadership. And that is all I have to say.
All right, thanks for all that detail and enthusiasm, and we'll go to Southeast with Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon Berkman, and I'm the AG for the Southeast clubs. So we have 4 clubs in Juneau, 2 in Ketchikan, 1 in Petersburg, and 1 in Sitka. And we're all meeting differently. I believe Petersburg is meeting all in person. The rest of the clubs are doing both hybrid and in person, depending on what's going on. Some of the highlights for what they've been doing. So Rotary 2000 in Ketchikan has completed a handicap access and landing project at Rotary Beach. They're currently still doing improvements to the beach. They're hoping to add more picnic tables, fire pits, and barbecue pits this year. They have also packaged and delivered 50 Christmas dinner boxes for families in need for the Salvation Army. They've been gathering items for the local homeless shelters in safe homes as well. Petersburg has been collecting electronic devices for schools in Costa Rica. They've done a Christmas party with gifts for Mountain View Manor, which is an assisted living facility. They had their 2nd annual boat light parade this year, and you can see that on their Facebook page, and they have prizes for those. They also are doing their duck race, and they're still continuing their amazing Sandy Beach Play Park renovation. So Juneau clubs, they call them the Quad Clubs of Juneau, and they've been doing a lot of stuff together. So members of the Juneau Quad Clubs, led by President Michelle Strickler from Glacier Valley, they worked last week to get the classrooms at Chapel by the Lake ready for school to resume for those kids attending Riverbend School. If you guys don't know, that school was closed due to significant flooding from a burst pipe over the holidays, and they had to actually move all of the kids out to the Chapel by the Lake to get to go back to school. The 4 clubs also found that a lot of the kids needed real tennis shoes to participate in PE activities because they're being held at the UAS gym. And so there was about 60 kids who couldn't afford real tennis shoes. So the Rotarians jumped in and solved the problem. They purchased a bunch of shoes from Fred Meyer's, got a list of all the sizes that were needed, and they passed those all out to everybody. They've also they did an ad to thank workers in Juneau for all they've done for COVID. They came together as well as at Christmas for Rotary Cares for Kids, put Christmas dinner boxes together. And they have been working on, the Juneau Rotary Club in particular has been working on a project to refresh Spruce Root House that is a new house for homeless kids. It's a transitional facility where kids can go to be safe. And then we also have, sorry, I've got out of order here. The Glacier Valley Club, they built a shelter at the Rotary Park, and they enlarged the bricks and built into the 9/11 memorial at Rotary Park. And then, like I said, they helped out with the other ones. And then we have Sitka, which Sitka's done a little more with international this year than in the past. We've done a fundraiser for 4 shelter boxes. Also sponsored 3 girls to go to school in Tanzania. And we've been keeping in touch with them via Zoom to see how they're doing. The Sitka PE also did a club survey to see where our club wanted to go. And one of the leading things was to help out with our Sitka Homeless Coalition. And the Homeless Coalition is looking to build dry cabins in a little homeless community with a central kitchen bathroom type area. And so they started a fundraiser last year, and the Sitka Club did a matching for them. They were looking to raise about 20,000 by the end of last year, and they were up to about 70,000 with our help. We've also worked with our local bike shop to provide access to bike lights for any bike riders who need it to be seen in the dark. We've continued with our Pioneer Home Christmas this year, and last year we've had to do just gifts and handwritten cards as we weren't able to go in and actually have our party with them. We've also continued to carve pumpkins for at Halloween so that they have some pumpkin decorations. And we did our kids fishing day on Swan Lake. And last year we had to do it virtually. So we basically had kids go out and fish and send us pictures, and they still won prizes for catching the fish. This year we actually got to do it in person again, which was really great. So that's about what the highlights are for the Southeast. Oh, I'm sorry. And Ketchikan, I'm sorry. First City, Ketchikan. They are building a playground at the Women in Safe Schools.
Okay.
So that's the highlights.
Thanks for the update. That brings us through our AG reports, and we're just a couple minutes behind schedule. I'd like to suggest that everybody now do a virtual wave. You know, if we were in person, we could all make noise and we could do waves and all of that, but it's not that easy virtually to do that. So I'm going to suggest that everybody raise your arms and start at the left and bend to the left, and then slowly bend to the right, and then slowly go back to the left, and one more time to the right. All right, that's our virtual wave, best we can do. And that takes us to Andre and the Growth and Learning Committee. It's my pleasure to serve on this delightful committee with all of these past DGs. And I have to say, I really want your attention, PEs. This is a wonderful, wonderful way for everybody in your club to get up to speed in the areas that interest them the most. It can be done at home. It's easy, it's fun, it's rewarding, and it will really improve your club. So with that, I'll turn it over to PDG and Chair of the Growth and Learning Committee, Andre Laurel.
Will that go whole screen? Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to take the next 10 minutes or so and run through a number of slides to introduce the Growth and Learning Initiative that we've been working on since 2021. Janine, can you advance that slide? So back in 2021, we transitioned from having the District Leadership Academy to incorporating some of the great resources that RI has to offer in its Learning Center. We went this direction because there's a flexible format. There's an opportunity for you to use the Learning Center at any time, anywhere you're at. You can learn in small bites by starting and completing it at your pace, or you can sit down and work through an entire course together. And it's got targeted learning by either course or by role. So there's a lot of benefits, but the current materials that are in the Learning Center is the primary reason why we moved in this direction. Go ahead. So I just want to bring to your attention, there's 2 ways to access the Learning Center, and it's not our intent today to get into the details, but we want you to know how you get there. One is to go to the Rotary District 5010 website, and using the pull down training tab, you can go directly to an entire page with links that get you into the Learning Center. The other is that you can log into myrotary.org and you can scroll down from the Learning Center tab, and then off to the left, there's a link for entering the Learning Center. Go ahead. So you can see the training tab is outlined in red here. By the way, I want to give Alana Berg credit for putting together these great materials on our district website. working with Christine Gabb. So you can see once you're in the training session, it takes you to this page, which is down below. That's actually a separate slide there. And if on the left where I've got circled growth and learning, you can click on there and it'll take you to another page. Go ahead, Janine. And on that page, it shows you the 4 learning plans: Rotary Essentials, Inside the Club, Leadership Development, and Beyond the Club. And these consist of anywhere from 6 to 8 different courses that are in the Learning Center that our committee is handpicked as appropriate for each of those different levels. The Rotary Essentials is really recommended for everyone, but particularly new members, or just as a refresher for experienced Rotarians. Inside the Club really looks at the club's function and how clubs operate. And it's for those members that are taking on club offices or serving on club committees. The leadership development is an opportunity to learn and practice your personal, professional, and volunteer skills. And then the Beyond the Club is for those who wish to serve at the district level and beyond. And these are some higher level courses in the Learning Center. When you get into the Learning Center, you actually can have 2 looks. One of the looks is our 4 learning plans that I just shared with you. And here you can actually learn courses by topic. And these are just a sampling of some of the ones that are there. Go on to the next one. So what we've focused on a great deal this year is creating what we're calling the Growth and Learning Support Team. And we've done this regionally because we have Rotarians, great Rotarians, many who have graduated from the District Leadership Academy. And we've asked for them to be a part of helping promote the Learning Center and the Growth and Learning Initiative. So their role is to be a resource to local Rotarians and Rotary clubs. And they're working closely with the AGs to meet with presidents and share this information. Its focus is on raising awareness about the initiative and encouraging clubs to promote the Growth and Learning Initiative. It also shows Rotarians how to access and use the Learning Center, so the team members are available to do presentations to clubs, and particularly when members try to get into the Learning Center and they might struggle, they can get into the.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I needed that. I've got a.
I'm hearing some talking in the background. Can you mute yourself? So the purpose is to try to get club presidents engaged in modeling, talking about the importance and the benefits to their club, and providing recognition for members in their club. Go ahead. So the key focuses that they're prepared to present is what is the Growth and Learning Initiative, how to access it, introduce the 4 learning plans, inquire about the learning needs of members and clubs. And I want to be frank about this. The Learning Center is not a perfect resource. From time to time, members find some challenges getting into it. We just heard from one of our members this week. And we work very closely with Kim at the Learning Center at RI. And we like to bring those kinds of issues forward to them. Many of them they're aware of. So if you reach out and you have a problem accessing the Learning Center, the resource team leaders are available to you to help kind of guide you through that, and they'll be sharing those with our committee. So how can clubs help? The club president can model the use of the Learning Center. We encourage the presidents to appoint a growth and learning point of contact in their club to lead their efforts. We recognize that presidents are very busy people, but we really need to be able to have a point of contact for our growth and learning team members. The club can come up with a club challenge to make it fun. Club members to be engaged, we encourage you to consider pairing up or doing some group learning, although each must log into the Learning Center and complete the courses and the evaluations to get credit for having completed a course. Inviting club members to share what they've learned is a great way for the whole club to benefit. And then recognizing members who participate and complete courses and learning plans is an important way to encourage others in the club to become more aware and learn about the various Rotary resources. So the support team can make a presentation, they can help you troubleshooting, and they're available to find out what the learning needs of the club are. Go ahead. So who is the support team? In the interior, it is Peggy Paulin, myself, Patty Merritt, and Alana Berg. In the Anchorage Bowl area, the 9 clubs that Amy referred to, it's Bill Hopper and George Fruschauer. In the Mat-Su Eagle River area, it's Kim Erickson and Don Polton. On the peninsula, I want to thank our AG down there for sharing with me 5 different names of people on the peninsula, and I've reached out to them. But at this time, we don't have any team members representing the peninsula and Kodiak. So I hope that the clubs will be able to help us identify somebody that we can provide some training and support the clubs in that area. And in Southeast, Rosie Ropel, Sharon Bergman, and Karen Tarver, who's in Juneau, will be the 3 team members. If any of you would like to be one of the growth and learning team members, reach out to any of the 4 people listed on this slide for the committee. And that's Alana Berg, Gail Nepper, Patty Merritt, and myself. You see that there's an email there for assistance and contact, which is rotary5010learning@gmail.com. I just want to compliment Alana for all of her work on the elements of the growth and learning on the website. Gail and Alana really have a tremendous amount of knowledge, and they've been very helpful on our committee. And then finally, Patty, of course, has been busy with her district trainer responsibilities, but she's also been a very active member of our committee. So if any of you has any questions, you can submit those to this email. You can also email our committee members, or you can contact me. My number is 907-460-7786. So with that, that's the end of my presentation. I'll certainly be happy to take a question or two if there's any.
Okay, I think we'll ask people to put any questions in the chat. Some there. Something coming up on the chat there. What is it? Virtual support. Yeah, Gail's commenting. We've got some virtual support. Okay, well, thank you, Andre. It's a wonderful way that we've transitioned from the District Leadership Academy. That was wonderful in its time, but now we're moving on to a new approach, which is very well aligned with what happens at Rotary International. I think you took my agenda. I need to take this down. First Bill took it and then Andre took it. All right, so we're going to move on to committee reports, and Rosie is up first. Talking about public image.
Hey, good morning. I think we have a slide. Well, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to introduce ourselves as co-chairs, Rosie Ropel and past District Governor Michelle O'Brien, both of Ketchikan First City Rotary. We love working as a team. We want to thank Janine for getting our visuals up, and our district trainer, Patty Merritt, and the DGE Mike Ferris team. So who are we? According to Rotary International, the role of District Public Image Committee is to work with clubs and the district specifically to promote the telling of Rotary's story. I just heard incredible stories from all the AGs, and I'm hoping that they'll use the brand center, get some of that on the beautiful pictures of these great projects, and get them onto their Facebook pages and share them to the district page. And if we could find someone to write the district newsletter, it would be really cool to have that submitted there. So if any of you are interested in writing a newsletter for our district, I'm sure that everyone would be thrilled to receive these, because clubs need to have ideas on all these wonderful projects you guys just told me about that are going on that I didn't have any clue about, and I've been to all your Facebook pages. So just saying. Okay, so we've created this visual for you, which will be sent to you because it's probably kind of hard to see right here, but it's interactive. So you can actually click on these links and it will take you to these sites, which I hope you will mark in your menus. Okay, so we'll get it out to the presidents, we'll get out the president-elects, the public image chairs, I hope you're listed on Club Runner, or you as Public Image Chair will not receive it unless your president gives it to you. And thank you to those of you who have reached out for help. So who is a public image team? Okay, everybody on this thing, everybody is on the public image team. Every Rotarian. The first thing you have to do is just wear your pin everywhere and talk about it. So you have your mouth, you have your photography, you can take pictures with your phones, and you'll be able to get that out. So you have a pin, a mouth, a camera, creative juices, and the RI for help. I want to say that our district is incredible about doing public image. You've been well schooled at PETS. Now we've got our wonderful resource team and growth and learning, and we also have the learning center. So I hope you go to the Public Image Learning Center if you're interested at all on how to do branding. And there's the People of Action campaign. You want to get your best pictures, not a bunch of penguins setting up, but we want to have action, people doing things. And I'm going to show you a picture. Janine, can you go to there? So you can see these, this is in our club, and I know you guys have them too, but you got everybody working. You have your name of your club, and then you're doing the People of Action site. And when you're doing, you're bragging about your matching grants, using a photo, which could be done with your cell phone, and you can go to the brand center and have it put up. You can have it professionally made, like the music moves on the right, but that's our new Rotary park, and with music moves, which is really incredible. Okay, so we bring our Rotary stories to life, which reveal our local district and global grants and our passions, even socials. Many district folks have been trained and are using the brand center. A lot of people can't remember how to get in there. So I have the links on that paper that if you can go back to the paper, please. And the RI Learning Center, now the District Growth and Learning Center, they're all great assets for us. Plus, presidents have been through all the public image courses, hopefully. So why is it important? Okay, guys, public image is especially important these days when Rotary membership is declining in the United States. And I think we're doing a great job here in Alaska, but I know that we could use a lot more members. So if you get a really super good project, get the branding on it, put it out, put it everywhere. I'm going to give you a list of places you can put it. I know people are using these already, so that's where I got all the ideas. And you know what else is going to be beneficial? The foundation. You're going to gain some money in the foundation because people want to donate, people want to become members, and they're going to want to work on our projects. And oh wow, how can we help you? So while many people have heard of Rotary, few people actually understand what Rotary clubs do. And really take this to heart. In fact, 35% of the public is unfamiliar with any Rotary program. Now there's some towns that you guys have just inundated the community with it. So that's, I'm not talking to you guys. So including their local clubs, a lot of they don't really understand what Rotary is. A good campaign empowers and retains our members. And then we also gain membership. And then there you go, foundation. And clubs gain help from the public with support on their projects and fundraising. So Rotary has created a global ad campaign called People of Action. The ads are available for download, and they're going to put up 5 new templates in the middle of February. So keep going there. And that's on this link too. You can click on that. So you'll find the guidelines on how to use the colors and what the logos are. And so you can get those on your Facebook pages. I've been to every one of your Facebook pages. I've been to all of your websites, and most of you have updated your Rotary logos. Now, some of you haven't. So I'm giving you a chance here before I go back in and look again. And hopefully you've done that. So whenever you put something out like I'm going to brag about Uncorked. Petersburg won the best float in the parade, and all your fabulous parks and all your towns that I know of, because I've been to almost all of them. And then even the Zone 2832 Foundation Gala event had perfect branding, very exciting logos. And Project Amigo's been putting things out too. So I'm really glad you mentioned those. But all those other AG reports that have these wonderful projects, please, please, please get a dynamite picture. Everybody's got a camera. And get it to somebody in your club. Go practice. Go to the People of Action site. Go to the brand center and see what you can do out there. And don't just share them in your town. Of course you share them in your town, but share them everywhere. Share them to the district. Other clubs need to know what you're doing so they can get good ideas on what to do too. And if you can't get it up on the site, send it to me and we'll put our emails, Michelle and I'll put our emails in there. And by the way, I really want to thank DG Andre Laurel for consistently posting to District 5010. I also want to thank him for the district app where he's been linking stories. It's been hard to get people to send their wonderful stories. We just heard about all these wonderful stories. They could be sent to Andre, he could get those up. And then let's see. So a lot of you have been sending me photos of their projects and I've been helping them get the branding on them and they're being publicized. But here's where you go. We've got the district app. We've got Facebook. Every club has a Facebook page, I've noticed. You can hook your regular website into Facebook. A lot of people have Instagram and Twitter, and that's for the clubs and the district. Now, you may not know this, and I hope you do know it. We have a YouTube channel, and District 5010 has been putting up a variety of MP4s that have been turned into YouTubes for you to peruse. And that's on the link too. You can click there and go and see these wonderful presentations. And I just want to give a shout out to Juno Gassino, who in my mind wins the prize for getting the most in. Well, maybe PDG Cash Eye, he might have done that too, because everything he did, he got it to me or I got it and put it up. So make sure your web pages have proper branding. Use the radio.
Rosie, I'm loving this report and I think it's really important, but I'm going to have to ask you to wrap it up.
Okay, well, can I have Michelle wrap it up, please?
Okay, wrap, Michelle.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
Thanks,
Hey, this
Rosie.
is all great information. Thanks, Rosie. We do have an additional tool for you. We did a presentation for Rotary International a couple weeks ago about how to garner free media. That would be radio, television, over the top, social, etc. So what I'll do in the interest of time is send that link out to everyone as soon as I get that video from RI, because it's got a ton of helpful tools. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to suggest at the end of our meeting that we don't close out the whole meeting. We can leave it up for a few extra minutes and people who want to chat or ask questions can do that. Also, you should be able to scan back through the chat. And if there's something on there that you want to write down or respond to, you'll be able to do that as long as we leave the meeting open a little longer. We're moving on through the committee reports, and I'm going to ask everybody to try and keep it to about 4 minutes each. If you see me waving my pen, it means that you're at about the 4-minute mark. And the next one is Ryla with Brenda, and then we'll have Jess again with Shelter Box.
Thank you. And the first thing I need to do as I begin to talk about RILA 2022 is do my shout out to Kelly Larson. I know Kelly's on the meeting today, and I want to thank her because when you reach out to other Rotarians and ask for their assistance and they help you, well, we're all such a great group of resources. So Kelly Larson, thank you for our 2022 RILA logo. Next slide. RILA is taking place April 14th through the 17th here in the Mat-Su Valley. RILA moves every year. We were virtual last year, but the year before that, we had a most amazing RILA down in Homer. It's going to take place at the Kings Lake Camp, April 14th through the 17th. Next slide. What can you do right now? Please make sure you identify your RILA rep. Then you're going to go onto the District 5010 website and you're going to fill out your club commitment form. Now, that doesn't mean you've had your student picked out yet. What that means is you intend to send a student to RILA, and this really helps us in our planning, meals, rooms, things like that. So clubs, go right now to that District 5010 webpage. You are going to have to log in though once you get there, because you're going to go, you're going to click on youth, then you're going to click on RILA. Then when you hit that RILA resource button, you're going to have to run into your Club Runner account, because that's where all of our forms are. So please get that turned in. Right now, I want to thank and recognize Peggy Paulin. She is our longtime RILA everything. She's our registrar, but she's a treasurer, and she's our past district governor support. So Peggy, thank you so much. Shout out to you and all you do for RILA, because you do a lot. So get your commitment forms into Peggy Paulin. Then what you're going to do is you're going to start looking for your students. So go out, talk to your school districts, look at other youth activities, and find those leaders in those areas and ask them who they might want to send to RILA. Please get that to us, or your student information, by March 31st. I would end by saying you can contact me. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Contact me if you want me to give your club a presentation on, how to do it, or maybe just to get them motivated to do it. Please remember, these are the young men and women in your community, and we want to do youth leadership for them. Here is the committee of people that are going to be putting this together. We have our local committee, but this is the statewide group. We have people from Wasilla Sunrise Rotary, like Cherie Vieira. We have Don Black, and I want to recognize Audrey Stack. She is in the vest that you see standing next to me, that turquoise vest. As I move through the district governor line, she's going to be taking over as chair of RILA. So as you can see, we have people from all over the state of Alaska that are going to be helping get this event up and running. And finally, I would mention, you might be thinking this, will we be doing it because of COVID? This group of people that you see right here in front of you from all over the state of Alaska will be taking that into consideration and as we move forward. So any questions at all, I'm going to put my information in the chat box so that you can ask me questions or just contact me afterwards. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And moving on to Shelter Box, Jess.
Hello, everyone. And I have to give a quick shout out. I saw Nancy Dodge's name up there. So hi, Nancy. As Nancy kind of handed the wand over to me pre-pandemic of Shelter Box. And as many of you know, we used to really have Shelter Box as our youth exchange fundraiser. But since Youth Exchange has been on hiatus for a couple of years, I have kind of made my pig now the Shelter Box fundraiser. So just to let you guys know, 48% of District 5010 has participated in the KISS Bank Challenge. And if you don't know that, the details are right there on the slide. So far, we've raised $24,853 between clubs and individuals that have given on behalf of their clubs. And a huge shout out to Sitka and the Susitna Club, because they both did large fundraisers for Shelter Box and wanted to make sure Cheryl planted a big old wet one on Spank. Our goal is to have 100% club participation, and this is more important to us than the $38,000 we would like to raise. The club participation is important because if we do that, we'll be the only district in Shelter Box USA to have 100% club participation. So even if your club gives $10, you just need to make sure that you indicate what club you're with, or I can ask, usually I ask Janine if I can't find it, but that's the big thing we're hoping for. And then the grand finale will be Cheryl on Friday giving Spank a huge smooch at Shelter Box. And we're gonna have at district conference, the tent set up, as well as money opportunities to give there. So basically Spank being the real piggy bank. Just a couple things about Shelter Box to give you guys a heads up. In April of 2021, Shelter Box reached an important milestone, sheltering over 2 million people. Just to note, it took 15.5 years of our operation to reach the first million, but only 5.5 to reach the second. At the end of the year, we supported 28,600 families, or 143,000 people. Through the pandemic, we reached across 10 countries: the Philippines, Haiti, Honduras, Sudan, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Syria, and Mozambique. And those are through natural disasters and conflict. And from January of 2020 through August of 2021, we did not deploy our response team members, our SRTs, due to the COVID-19, but we did deploy items to support with COVID-19. So we changed our tactics to include face masks, hand washing stations, soap, and hand sanitizer. Lastly, if you or any club wants a shelter box presentation, I'm happy to do it virtually, and usually I can move my work schedule around if it is in the South Central area to do a presentation. I'm happy to do that as well, but I'm happy to do a virtual one as well to learn more about shelter box, or even to entice your clubs to give. So Cheryl can give the big old smooch. Thank you guys. And you can see the cute pig and even cuter Cheryl Metiva.
Great. And everybody wants to come to district conference to see that, right? Paul, you'll be up with grants next, and then we'll have Tanya and maybe Kathy on the conference.
Patty, I don't believe that Paul Pasley is on.
Okay, thank you. We'll cover grants at the district conference. And that puts Tonya Gamble and Kathy Tim up about the conference.
Okay, can you hear me?
We could stand, have you closer to the mic.
Okay. So we are so excited about this conference. It's been 3 years since we've had one, and it will be held on May 12th to the 15th. There's a lot going on. Cheryl has identified 3 major themes for her conference. Their youth exchange. So a lot of you know Rick Allen and his wife Stephanie and their son Reese. They're going to talk about the youth exchange experiences from all 3 different perspectives. And we're also going to have some returning youth exchange kids. We'll have Ivan from Colombia, Jose from Chile, and Oleg from Poland. And there's a possibility that we will also get Fani from Hungary and Zarina from Kyrgyzstan, depending on what's happening in their countries at that time. The second theme is human trafficking. And as Cheryl mentioned before, Carly Pogorski is one of the co-chairs, along with Don Weiss of the for the Human Trafficking for District 5010 Committee. Carly is an attorney with the Office of Public Advocacy, and she's going to update us on what the district is doing for human trafficking. Michelle Overstreet and Stacey Yates from My House are also going to speak on that topic. And then for suicide prevention, the third theme, we'll have Nick Hansen, who is the Alaska Ninja Warrior. He will be talking about his experiences with the Alaska Native population. We also are having as our keynote speaker Sylvia Whitlock. She is the first woman Rotary Club president, and so that should be exciting. Maria Pacheco is the founder of Wakami, and it's her life's vision to have the cycle of poverty reversed to a cycle of prosperity. She was born in Guatemala, and she spends a lot of time down there. Excuse me, so she should be really interesting. And then, of course, Jess already mentioned Spanx. And Sarah Bush is also coming with Shelter Box to join Jess. Our entertainment is going to be fantastic. Ken Pelletier will be our entertainment for Friday night, and he's also bringing a special guest from Nashville. We don't know who that is yet, or at least we're not going to tell you yet. There'll be a cowboy barbecue, and we're working on a beer tasting. There will be a cornhole challenge. And the dress for that night is optional, but you know, if you have cowboy hats, Western clothes, that will be great. Saturday night is going to be a little more elegant. It's going to be a black and white theme. And we're having special entertainment for that too. It's a surprise that Cheryl has gotten, and it should be a lot of fun. Room rates are $150 a night. There's 205 people registered already. So if you have not, please get in there to do so and register also for your room, because you have to call the hotel for that. But there's only like 1 or 2 Mountain View rooms left. They are going fast, and we had a lot of registrations right at the very beginning because Talkeetna Air Taxi had donated a flight C, and I saw Penny Palmquist here. She was the one that won that. Hi, Penny. Congratulations. Okay, what else? Let's see. If you're not knowing how to get there, look at the website. I could go through all those, but you can come on the railroad. We'll have, there's information there on shuttles that would come from Anchorage to the park on the Park Connection bus. And there's also a discount for the airlines. So we hope that you're all going to come. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it will especially be great for everybody to come because it's been so long since we've been together at a district conference. And that's
Thanks,
it.
Kathy.
You're welcome.
I think somebody said earlier, make reservations on Wednesday. As I understood it, somebody noted in the chat, the hotel's not accepting reservations for Wednesday night, but the Thursday meeting, as I understand it, isn't starting until midday, like 12 or 1. Mike Ferris or Cheryl could clarify for that.
That's
So that
right.
was intended that people would be able to drive up from Anchorage or down from Fairbanks if they wanted to participate on Thursday. Have I got that right?
Well, Patty, Denise Kipke actually just sent an email this morning, and she's reached out to the hotel to see if we can use the rooms on Wednesday night also. But you're right, the training that will be on Thursday will be from like noon to 5 or 6 is my understanding.
Yes, and just so you all know, part of our original agreement with the hotel was that rooms would be available on Wednesday. We did so when Brad hosted the conference there. So we're definitely going to get that clarified, and you will all receive notification as well.
And Tanya sends her regrets that she couldn't be on this conference, but we're working hard to make it wonderful.
Well, it's pretty exciting and such a good turnout. We're looking forward to getting together. So membership is up next, and the agenda says Andre's handling that, but he passed me a note and said Sharon Durka is doing it. So Sharon, you are next, and then after that, we'll have Interact report from Dan Dawson.
Thank you. Yes, the district membership committee has been meeting monthly, and the purpose is to support, help to grow and nurture our clubs. Excuse me. We have a diverse statewide committee representing the entire state, each of the regions, and we are focusing on how to, the essentials of how to help clubs help themselves, to make themselves available to things such as visioning when they are losing the stream from one reason to another. And excuse me, visioning is like a North Star. So it's a really important part that Rotary offers, where you could look at your club, not planning, not looking at strategies or mission, but looking at the possibilities of your club. And the committee is willing to help with that. We've also, excuse me, we have also worked to roll out an exit interview process. The committee has spent time constructing and reconstructing a considerable, easy kind of format to use for your interview. And the district community is also offered to help with the interviews if the club requests. Why would you do an interview at the exit when somebody is leaving? Even if you know that they're moving to another club, it helps you to look at changes, to add things to your club that might be an improvement and include other members. And the fourth thing that we focused on was getting new Rotarians to the district conference. And we now know that all of the slots for the discounted rate have been filled. That's our Rotary District Membership Committee. We're here to assist each of your clubs.
Thank you. As a passionate person about membership, I have to say there's probably nothing more important, because if we don't have members, we're not making any headway. So thank you for your efforts there. And now Interact Rotaract, Dan?
Thanks so much. We've had some difficulties this year with Rotaract. There's a very social function to that. And we're working with the universities for university-based clubs and communities. We really want to get that back. The pandemic has really been hard on that. Interact, we probably have 150 students in Alaska right now. We've got clubs in Ketchikan and a couple in Juneau, and Will Miro on the peninsula is trying to get an Interact club going there, and we really thank him for that. You know, I want to ask the PEs on this call to really make a Interact and Rotaract a priority. When you go through pets, you know, and you're doing your budget, put a line in for Interact and Rotaract. Make it a priority. These are future Rotarians. You know, they really are the future of Rotary. We want to really ask them to do as much as they can. We've got students that, if you just give them a chance, they do all kinds of projects. We've got Grace Hudson, who's a former youth exchange student and Interact student here on Project Amigo right now. And Grace is like the ideal person that we're looking for, that is going to be a future Rotarian. And we really, really need your help. We only get 3 minutes out of a 3-hour conference here. So please really think about the future of our kids and working with them. Thanks so much.
Well, that was fast, short and sweet, Dan, and you've got us back on schedule. I actually gave you 4 minutes. You've got a minute left. Thank you so much. You know, my Rotary Club a few years ago on Valentine's Day had a little thing. We put out on the table these little foam hearts, and I asked people, write on those what it is that you love most about Rotary. And I'm going to ask everybody now to take a piece of paper. And if you don't have one, if you're just working on your computer or such, take 10 seconds and write, what is it that you feel most joyful about with Rotary? What is it that you love the most with Rotary? And then I'm going to ask you, as we continue through the end of our meeting here, to put up your one thing in the chat, and we'll capture all of those. So take about 10 seconds or so to write your one thing. And we're already beginning to see some of those come up. Nobody will be surprised that Mike Collins includes toilets. So we'll ask you to put those up, and we should be able to capture that. And then we'll move on here with Brenda Hewitt and visioning. Sharon did a nice job of setting up how important that can be. So Brenda, you're up next.
Don't I? All right. From the beginning. And is Sharon is she gonna run the slides for me, or am I gonna do that myself here?
Brenda,
Janine,
I
I
can
believe this,
run them. I can run them for you, Brenda. I've got them loaded.
I love you, Janine. You're my new best friend.
Thank
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. And it's just so good to see so many friends and names on the list here. So thank you so much. I was going to ask how many of you have been through a Rotary visioning, and let me see if I can see that in the chat. I think several of you have, because I know Patty, we've been through it with your club. This is a chance for us to talk about visioning, and I can't think of a better theme for Jennifer Jones to have than Imagine Rotary, because that fits right into visioning. So let's go to the next slide. If you haven't done one in the last 3 years, I want you to consider, as a president or a member of your club, to encourage your club to go through this. It is truly a useful tool. It's strategic planning for your club. Your visioning team is made up of experienced Rotarians from around the district, and they've also gone through some training to be better facilitators. And like Scott was telling me from Kenai, he said, they were the last club that we did it with, and he said they got us talking and hearing what was important to everybody. It gave us a plan of action. You know, we knew where we wanted to go, and it really showed where our passions were. So what we do, and thank you, Sharon, for the little shout on visioning through your membership report, but we don't come in and tell you what to do. What we do is facilitate what you already know is the uniqueness of your particular club. So let us help you put that plan together, because next slide. I love the fact that Mike Pollan put this PowerPoint together, so I'm giving you credit, Mike. Anyway, failing to plan is planning to fail. And there's his toilet. I just want you to know that Mike doesn't go anywhere without a toilet. Okay, next slide. So why do we need a plan? And Rotary Club, and you've probably heard this before, but we're the only organization as large as we are where all of the leadership changes every July 1st. And so when you think about that, there's a lot of room for continuity, you know. So when we put together a plan, you know, and you've got a 3-year plan, you kind of know where you're going. And it helps you, you know, not have to reinvent that wheel or, you know, lose direction. So let's go to the next slide. Here's another one that I love this slide, because here's Main Street and Main Street, and you've got to yield. So if you've got a plan, then you kind of know where you're headed. Next slide. So in the big picture, and I think you might have to click one more time to show the bullet. And there we go. There's RI. And RI has got, you know, we've got our focus, we've got, they've got their own strategic plan, and it builds out, click again, to the district, and then click again out to the club. So each one of these units has their own strategic plan. So let's talk about RI's strategic plan, because that's kind of at the core of where we're going to go. Next slide. This is what's kind of happened. So they've listed 3 strategic priorities, and you'll see support and strengthen club is one of their strategic priorities. Then below that, you start listing out, how do they do that? What kinds of activities do they do that support and strengthen the club? And I don't need to read all of those to you, but under each one of those, so if you're going to say develop leaders, what's one of the ways that you can develop leaders? And then you go back to, well, let's go out and help Rotaract and Interact create new leaders. Let's, each time somebody volunteers, they get a chance to become, well, you might have to go back a couple of slides for me.
Sorry, Brenda, let me go back.
That's all right. I get itchy fingers sometimes too. Okay, so I just got off, we were doing the Rotary Pets Northwest training, and we had a training session this morning. They asked me what we thought engagement meant, and I said it was a diamond ring. It was not the answer they were looking for. However, engagement is what membership is basically all about. So when RI has these strategic priorities, like when we do this for your club, you're going to also come up with what your priorities are. You're going to come up with activities that support those particular There we go. Cool. Thank you. That support those priorities. And then we're going to build this action plan. So RI's strategic priorities include focusing and increasing humanitarian service. And it talks about engaging us in the public image and awareness programs. And so when we do those things, we are promoting our core values. And I think you saw on the slide that we had up there just a minute ago is talking about what those core values are. And so as long as we're doing those core values in our club, you're going to be able to come out with a successful and dynamic club. So let's talk about what we hope will be our outcome when we do a visioning. Visioning used to have a 5-year plan. We've kind of shortened it to 3 to kind of keep it dynamic. And when you have that successful club, you are going to have dynamic and vibrant and innovative activities. You're going to provide humanitarian service in the community and internationally. You're going to publicize those efforts. And so let me just have you close your eyes for a minute, and no fair taking like a full nap, but close your eyes for a minute and just pretend that you are in a helicopter. You're over your club and you're seeing your club at its very best. What is your club doing? What do you see? I think that's part of visioning, is being able to see what it looks like when it's operating at its very best, and then developing those steps that come to it. If you want to go through visioning, we have one club already set up coming up soon. Homer is going to be going through this, and I'm excited. We've got several members that were volunteered to go down and do that. And I know that there are other clubs that want to do this. So let us set this up. We'll probably work with Cheryl and see what we can do it for a breakout, maybe at the convention as well. But I want you to know how the process works. I could send you lots of material on that. You know, where we start out, we can do it in an evening. We can do it on a Saturday afternoon. But one of the things that excites me about the visioning process is that it allows you to think outside the box. You get to just brainstorm and come up with a gazillion ideas and throw them at the paper. And then we're going to give you some dots. People are going to vote on it. They're going to, you know, when that happens, it magically focuses your points to just a few that you're going to actually be able to work on. But it allows you to have those grand dreams. And I think that's the exciting part of visioning. So in visioning, you're going to have, you know, a survey that goes out to your club. We're going to see where you are at this moment, where your club thinks their priorities are. Over all the years that we've been doing this, I've noticed that sometimes they'll say, oh, we think youth services are, you know, youth activities are one of our, you know, things that are most important that our club can do. But yet then you ask them the question, well, how is your club doing on youth activities? And they'll say, not very well. So you immediately know that that's one of the focuses you want to go on. Or maybe it's international service. So each club has its own personality. We're there to help you, you know, make it be the best of what you can be so that it's attracting new members. Always remember to think back on why would somebody join my club? Paul Harris is the one that said, you know, Rotary is not an organization for retrospection. It's rather one whose worth and purpose lie in future activity rather than past performance. So we are a forward-thinking organization. So think now for a moment. It's 2025. I want your club is going to get a big award for being the very best club. What is that award for? What did you do to create that award? So visioning has a three-way. I wonder if I can get my slides up here. Hold on, let me just share my screen for a minute. See if I can get it up here. Okay, we're going to go down to this slide. Okay. It all starts with visioning, where you want to go. Then you're going to build these long range plans. And of course, one of the parts that makes this into an action plan is when we take it. I'm going to turn off closed captioning. When we take that plan and you assign it to a person and you give it a timeline. And those are the critical pieces, besides having a cheerleader that kind of keeps you on track over the next few years. And then you turn that long range plan into actions and programs. And then in a few years, you're going to go back, you're going to look at that visioning again, and you're going to reassess, because by then you'll have new members. Who knew that, the pandemic was going to come along, and it gave us a whole new way to interact with one another. And I don't think it's going to go away. I think we're going to be doing some form of, Zooming with our clubs from now on. So implementing the plan is the key. So it starts with your club vision. You're going to make those long range goals. You're going to look for the low hanging fruit, those short-term goals that you can do. This is a chance for you to engage every single member that has whatever passion they have. It's going to get channeled into those activities. There's various ways you can do this through club assemblies and ongoing training. You're going to make sure that you build in succession leadership. That's one of the beauties of having a 3-year plan. And then you're going to review it. And then this is the kind of action plan that you'll end up with at the very end. But again, we're going to give you names and when they're going to do it by, and we'll check up on you every once in a while just to make sure it happened. So that's my whole program. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Change my viewing options here. I didn't see a note from Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl, I understand you want to be up next, and then we'll move to Mike Ferris.
So my comment, everybody, is short and sweet. Many clubs in our district have never been through a visioning, have never gone through that process. And many clubs that I've spoken with have done it, but it's been 5, 8, 10 years. Coming off our last 3 years with the pandemic, now more than ever, this is a wonderful opportunity to engage your club in an exercise that's incredibly fun. And, as Brenda was talking, you think of it as a meeting, but it's so much more than that. And I will tell you, the last visioning I went through revealed a lot of really neat personality traits and passions within the club that I was not aware of. And it really refocused my personal clubs to sit in a really meaningful way that none of us went into it expecting or anticipating. So I'm going to look at each and every one of you. And I encourage you, if you can, this is a great team we have assembled. And if you can do a visioning yet this year, it is going to help your president-elect and your club so much as you step forward. So don't look at it as just a meeting. Look at it as a fun opportunity.
Okay, I can endorse that. And I see Kate Ripley has also put a shout out in the chat box there. So Mike Ferris has got 30 minutes as the incoming DG to talk about the 22-23 theme and also the team leaders that he's put together so far. So take it away, Mike.
Can you hear me okay?
We'll need you to get much closer to the mic.
Yep, 1 second. I have my technical assistant helping me. All right, you hear me now?
Not well. We need you really close to the mic.
I can make it very close. Can you hear me now?
That's better. You could put it right on your chin.
All right, we'll have them come and turn the mic up. Anyway, my name is Mike Ferris, District Governor-elect for District 5010. I just wanted to let everybody know when I see you live in person at the our district conference, for all our president-elects and people working on district, I have a pin just like this one. I'm going to give to every one of you. They're pretty cool. Some people have seen them. They're really great lapel pins. I was talking to my wife last night a little bit, going through some of the slides, and she was like, Mike, you get excited, you got to slow down. So I've asked Amy and Dan that if I get going too fast, to just start waving their hands and slow me down a little bit. But I do get excited because I love Rotary and I think we have a great organization. I want to talk a little bit about the 22-23 team. One of the other things we do badly, I think, in Rotary is we use acronyms all the time. We said RILA, and we didn't always talk about, well, that's Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. And PEs, we say PEs. And so if you're not in the present channel, you might not know PE is president-elect. AGs are area governors. DG line is district governors. So our PEs, president-elects, sign up for a one-year term. We have them all signed up for all clubs but 2 right now, so we're doing pretty good there. AGs are a 3-year commitment. Amy Mackey Hornack is staying here in Anchorage. Jess Goodsweiler has Kenai. Sharon's going to stay on for a year in Juneau, but we really need a new area governor in Juneau. Matt Stilstra is going to take over for Brenda in the Valley, and Gretchen Gordon is taking over for Bill Wright in Fairbanks. The DG line, we talk about a commitment, you know, an AG is a 3-year commitment. When you sign up to be district governor, you're somewhere between 3.5 and 4 years you've signed up for. By the time you say, yeah, I might be interested, and they select you between all the training. And then when you get done, then they have some more stuff for you. So it's a long commitment. So I really appreciate Mike Pollins following behind me as DGN, and right behind him is Brenda Sheldon. So we have a great team coming, and it's good to have everybody there. First thing I want to tell everybody, if we want to change Rotary, we got to think out of the box. We have to go tell our story. We have a product. We have a great product. Our product is we have fellowship. We do community service. We do impact on those in needs. We have the product, but how do we get it out? How do we let people know if we want to grow Rotary? So how do we sell it? And Rosie talked on a little bit, we are horrible at promotion. We are great at execution. We are great at getting out in front of different people and helping them, but we don't tell people about it. And if we don't tell people about all the cool stuff we're doing, why do they want to be in Rotary? We have the product, we got to learn to sell it. And then why do people want to buy it? What's the value to them? I mean, yeah, hey, great. I'm glad you're helping the community. What's the value to them? Is it fellowship? If people sign up for Rotary because they want fellowship, we better give them fellowship. If people say, I want to sign up, I've heard you guys are making an impact in a community, and all we're doing is having lunch meetings every week, we're not going to meet their needs. So we have the greatest product. We just need to get out there, sell it, let people know about it, and keep pushing Rotary forward. International Assembly is where we learn all the cool new stuff that's coming from Rotary. And like everything else this year, it was canceled. So it's going to happen virtually February 7th through the 14th. So there's not a lot I can share on that right now, but I'm hoping we'll learn more. As I learn more, we'll share it. We've talked about having all the president-elects get together during district assembly at district conference where we could all sit down, and hopefully we have a great story to tell then. We do have a great story to tell right now. Next year, my Rotary year, anybody that's a president-elect, you will have the very first female president of Rotary International, Jennifer Jones. It only happens once, and it's happened on our watch. So we are pretty blessed to have that happen for us. And she had 2 sayings that she talked about. 1, imagine a world that deserves our best. And 2, where we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. And those are just great things to be talking about. And part of it's blocked off because of people, but our new logo for 22-23 is Imagine Rotary. And I wanted to share a couple things about that. She had a talk, and there were just a few things that came up. 1, she's a member of the Rotary Club of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. But she wrote, imagine a world that deserves our best, where we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference, which we just said. To better engage members, Rotary needs to adopt and retool. And that is 100, I'm 100% behind that. Finding the right part to engage each member should be our core function. It comes down to comfort and care of our members. We have people are joining Rotary all the time. What are we going to do? How are we going to make them happy? How are we going to show them the value that they want to stay with us in Rotary? Like I just said, if we offer hands-on service, we offer hands-on service, personal growth, leadership development, lifelong friendships, and that creates a purpose and a passion for everybody. But if they're wanting that, that's what they joined Rotary for. We need to be offering it. Also, she talked about embracing new club models and asked every incoming governor, district governor around the world, around 550 of them, to each form 2 new innovative cause-based clubs during their Rotary year. If you got somebody that's has a passion, bring it to Rotary. Let's help them set up a club. We could do it with a passport club, with a satellite club. We have a lot of ways to help people enjoy Rotary. And she also noted that Rotary had by 2023, wanted to have 30% of Rotarians to be Rotary, to be women. And they haven't hit that worldwide. In the US, they're hitting it. District 5010, I think we're actually a little over 50% membership led by women. So that's a great thing we have. Wanted to just share a little bit about the budget. You saw George's the district budget. I also have my budget coming up as district governor. We've making some changes. Membership is down a little bit, and we and expenses are going to be up, membership down. I'm going to talk about both those. I was talking to Joe Cashai a couple of days ago, and he brought up something. I think this won't be exact, but I think 40 years ago, he said there was 2,500 Rotarians in Alaska and 2,500 Masons. And today there's roughly 1,500 Rotarians and 500 Masons. You know, rough numbers, but we're seeing community service go down there. Rotary is holding way better than most people, but membership is down. Membership helps fund our budget. We will get $27,000, we're guessing, from Rotary International to help offset expenses. We took out the last couple of years when we did leadership and planning, we had $1,500 that people, when they came to the meeting, paid that. Since we're having that meeting like today virtually, we won't see that money coming in. And we're debating whether we're going to keep the mobile app. If we don't keep it, we won't get the revenue from that, but it's also going to save us on expenses. So as we look on the expense side, to help do that, like I said, this is a 4-year commitment for a district governor. And it's a partnership. And anybody that tells you you don't have your spouse involved is incorrect. You definitely want to have your spouse involved the whole way. And part of that is they go traveling, they go training, they know what's expected of the district governor, what they're going to be doing. We didn't do that for the last 2 years. And as we're coming up with a shortfall in the budget right now, I've taken that out. So my spouse won't be doing any traveling that the district will be paying. If we do it, we'll have to pay for it out of pocket. We've had to reduce some training for the DG line as they've came in. We've done that virtual the last couple of years. We have $2,000 is normally what we spend on this planning and leadership meeting. Since we're doing that virtual, that's a cost we won't have. We'll remove that. $7,000 is set aside for the website and the mobile app. I personally love the mobile app. I thought it's great. But if everybody's not going to embrace it, it might not be an expense a district could handle anymore. And the last point is the DG travel. So for 2 years, all the training we would do has been virtual. So the money that was set aside for all that traveling hasn't happened. Now we're going back to live. We're going to be sending people here and there into different conferences. So that's a cost that goes up. At the same time, we had COVID, everybody stayed at home and membership has gone down. So we have a balanced budget right now. We're looking at some options of how we could put some of that stuff back in the budget, because it's not there for fluff. It's there because we got a great district. Cheryl talked about how we have one of the most robust districts, especially we talk about Pacific Northwest Pets and the other 9 or 10 districts in that. And one of it is because over the years, we've saved money, we have reserves, and we have ways to move forward without doing any detriment to the district. Everybody was coming back to visioning and growth and learning. Those are 2 of my priorities. If you notice, everybody else talked for about 5 minutes. Growth and learning, Andre had 15 minutes. Brenda had 15 minutes. I don't think if we want to grow the district, how we could do it without these two on board. The visioning, a couple quotes I wanted to share. Just give me 1 second. Yogi Berra, if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else. And Lewis Carroll, if you don't know where you're going, any road's going to get you there. That's why we have visioning. If your club is struggling or floundering or not sure what to do, if you don't have a clear path, you're not going to get there. You'll be on a path. It might not get you where you want to be when you're all done. So that's why visioning is so important to a club. I think we talked a bunch of these. I think they were buried in Brenda's slide. I hadn't seen her presentation before, but why do you want visioning? You get your whole club, you have a shared commitment, you know where you want to go. Long-term direction, we talked about. Presidents rotate in and out every year, and everybody has a little bit of their pet project they want to do. If your club doesn't have a goal and a focus and know where they're going, it's easy to get pulled away. And so that's why we want vision. What does your club do? What's core to your club? No matter who comes or who goes, what is your club going to be doing? And do you have that framework? Do you know how you're going to go about that? And optimizing the use of resources. If you have a small club, and Rotary's like everywhere else, we have 20% of the people in average doing 80% of the work. Now, let's say you have a small club, maybe you have 10, 15 people in your club, and they're all busy. Some's on finance, some's on membership, one's on foundation. You're doing all these different things. We have limited resources. If your club now comes up and we have one goal and one direction, we can start pulling those together and get everybody focusing, because we don't have unlimited resources of money or of time or of people. And just like Jennifer said, imagine clubs with a vision see the reality of today and the possibilities of tomorrow. Imagine what tomorrow is going to look like. What's it going to look like for you? What's it going to look like for your club? What's it going to look like for our district? Something we all need to talk about and know about. Growth and learning. The more you know, you don't know. Aristotle. And that is so true. Andre started to talk about that. All the opportunities we have to learn in our club. For people that are saying, I'm having trouble with membership, I'm going to walk you through an example of that in a second. I want to know more about foundation. But with growth and learning between our District 5010 and my Rotary International, there are so many topics, so many ideas, so many things to explore. And if you don't know it, you don't know it. But the more you know, you're going to start taking classes and go, oh yeah, I know foundation, we give some money and it goes to Rotary, and I think we get some of it back. I heard something about grants. But as we go in there and you know exactly where that's going and how that money is getting spent, what Rotary is doing and how it's coming back, it's easier for you to give to Rotary, and also easier to explain to somebody. When we give Paul Harris's in our club, a lot of times I don't say somebody gave $1,000. Somebody when you've made your first Paul Harris, you've donated a shelter box. You've done 10,000 polio inoculations. That's what that money is doing. And the more you understand where we're going and what we're doing all through Rotary, it's just a great thing. The more you know, the more you're going to want to know. I guess a couple examples. I just went out on my Rotary yesterday, took a couple screenshots. Just if you went into my Rotary, went to learning and references, and said learn by topic, and then clicked on membership. I want to know about membership. It's going to come up here, and it's going to have these topics: how to access a club, assess your club, engage your members, connect with prospective members, make new members feel welcome. How many people we have people come in our club, they're there for 6 months and we don't see them again. Develop your club, start a new club, stay current, a club planning assistant. It's 2 clicks on my Rotary and you're here. And just if we were to look at access your club, assess your club, there's, again, all these are PDFs are here. A planning assistant, how to do a health check for your club, how to even find out if your club's healthy. membership reports. Every membership chair is getting membership reports, knowing on what's going on in your club. Do you know what they mean? Did you put a new membership chair in? Do they know what they're seeing? You know, representing your community professionals, diversifying your club, finding new members. There's so much information with growth and learning at our fingertips. We have brand new president-elects. You're going to have new chairs in your club. We have such a great opportunity to show them. Also, another way you can go, if you go over to growth and learning and click under district roles and just click committees. Here's different committees. Again, we could drop into membership. We could learn about public image. Rosie knows everything about public image, so all we got to do is ask her. But if you didn't, or her phone was busy, you could go in there and find out about if you want to, maybe the foundation is important to you, how to serve at district level on the foundation committee, about finance, training. There's also other committees. We don't need, Kathy and Tanya are doing, you know, the district conference, but everything you want to know is out there as well. So if you were to click membership, and it just talks about it, you know, different members, attracting members, signing prospective members. And down at the bottom, it says, go to Learning Center, go to membership courses. They're right here. If you look, there's about 9 hours of different courses in membership. You could see my numbers. I think they are, I've done about 2 hours and I have about 7 hours of 45 minutes. If I wanted to take every membership class, but just looking at the second one, you know, practicing flexibility and innovation. That's one of the things, the messages from our current incoming Rotary president, Jennifer Jones, is how are we going to have innovation? How are we going to make innovative clubs? We can click on that. And there we are. We're now at a presentation. They're going to give you a couple YouTube videos. You watch, you know, 2 minutes, learn about that, push on, click through. And it just, a quick hour, an hour, and you could learn so much information. It's fun, it's interactive, and it just a perfect way to learn more about Rotary. And that's why I was very, very glad to see both Andre and Brenda bringing that forward for us to show it, because if we're not knowing where our club is going and getting the information we need along the way, we're going to struggle, not only as a club, but also as a district. So those are extremely important. I'm so glad and happy that we have those people there. One of the other things that we have is we have a world-class project that we did. Mike Pollin's going to talk here in a minute. I'm going pretty fast, so I'm not going to use all my time. And we put together a world-class project because of Tuluksook had a problem. And we're so out of the box on this. It is way out of the box. We didn't go to do a district grant. We said, let's make it happen. Let's borrow some money from excess reserves. Joe Cashai is talking to somebody on a plane, tell them what we do. Oh, we might have funding. I don't know if it's the first time, but nobody else has ever gave District 5010 a $100,000 check to go do a project we want to do. So they've offset almost all that cost. The original 3 units, they're asking about more. They came and said, hey, you know what? We can't fly these into everybody. Can you guys start taking these units apart? Mike Pollin, and he's going to tell you more about the project and what they've done and where they're going. And they've done such a fantastic job along the way. Now I can continue to see responses. Hey, we might want another one. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, they're asking it. It's a world-class project that just here in Alaska is taking off, and it has the opportunity to go anywhere in the world. So I'm going to take a break right now. I wanted to let Mike come up and take some time and talk about just the cool stuff he got going. He didn't do it all, but he is a water engineer by trade, kind of had the thought of where we can go, the best way to do it, started pulling the pieces together, and then we just had a great team. So Mike Pollin, if you'd like to start talking about this cool project we do in 5010, everybody would love to hear it.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I have a PowerPoint presentation as well. So here we go. And There we are. Okay, so this is called the Rotary District 5010 Emergency Water System Project. And what's remarkable about this is the 1-year anniversary of the idea of this project. It was at this meeting last year that our coordinator for this program, Patty Merritt, put in the chat, she said, "Did you hear what happened in the village of Tuluxac?" And of course I said, nope, hadn't heard it. And a couple of other people, same thing. And she said, well, they lost their water treatment plant. And basically, I'm going to talk about that in detail here in a moment. And a GoFundMe page had been put in place, and the purpose was to raise money and fly in bottled water into the community, pallets of bottled water, which are heavy and a very inefficient way of moving something into a remote Alaskan village. And we talked about, is there a better way? And we said, I guess I forgot to say no. I said, yeah, okay, we could figure this out. So this is the story, and I'm going to do a very abbreviated version of this. And just so you know, for any of the clubs that have not seen this presentation in its full version yet, please feel free to contact me. I'd be very happy to do this for your club. I actually, right now, this is actually the 8th presentation of this, either district-wide or to individual clubs. So here's the challenge. So a lot of the villages will experience some kind of a loss of their water, potable water system, or the entire thing, fire, natural disasters, mechanical operational failure, et cetera. And of course, Murphy's Law being what it is, a lot of this happens in the winter. So what you have is you have a tragedy here that's occurring, and it's complicated because of the timing. So what we ended up doing is talking about this, and the situation in Tuluxac, and this is a picture of what happened. Tuluxac's water system was as part of what it's called a washateria. The washateria is a central water point in the village that has laundry, showers, a place where people can fill water jugs. You see a storage tank in the background. Well, the washateria was lost to fire. The water plant was in the washateria. They lost everything. And they ended up going out into a nearby river. And most of these villages are located next to a lake or a river that in the winter, under the ice, has very clear water. So that was the premise that we started from. They actually put a pump in, and they brought the water in, but people had to boil the water to make it drinkable. And it took 45 days for the local regional health corporation out of Bethel to actually bring in an emergency water treatment plant. And that was the beginning of this. So the first thing I did is I reached out to a colleague of mine, John Doofendock, with Camp Water Industries. And believe it or not, Delta Junction is a manufacturing center of water treatment systems for rural communities. And John actually does this in Colombia and South America. He does it in Kenya and Africa. Just a remarkable fellow. And so this is a picture of John, myself, one of his granddaughters, and his grandchildren have played a prominent role in this, you should know, and yours truly at his shop in Delta Junction. And John immediately, and I sat down, and we immediately came up with a basic concept. We needed something that would make about, we picked 5 gallons a minute, which would make 7,000 gallons per day. That's 20 gallons per day for 350 people, which is about the amount of water that they use in the villages typically. If it was light enough, we could transport it with a helicopter. John recommended the Hughes 500. And the reason for that is there's a lot of them in Alaska. They're readily available. The unrefueled range on it is about 65 miles. If you refuel it, you double that, obviously. The system would be in a welded aluminum frame, basically reinforced with aircraft cables, because it's going to be flying under a helicopter. And we put a 2-stage filtration system together with disinfection with chlorine so that it would meet potable water standards, so people could literally fill the jugs at the tap and drink the water without boiling. And of course, it would be winterized with a submersible pump, electric heater, et cetera. The first thing we did is we went out and we did a proof of concept test. Now, again, this started at this meeting, and it was actually on, I have it right, it was the 6th of February last year. So by April, the 21st of April, we are at the Tanana River outside of John's shop doing a pilot test. And he brought one of these little, the same type of filtration system, but a smaller version of it. And we tested it with the water. Now, at this point in the Tanana River, there's upwelling of groundwater, so it stays pretty thawed out in the winter. We wanted to test it in Fairbanks, but we'd had a terrible snowfall at Easter and we just couldn't pull it off. So we went up, we tested it, and we ended up making 2 100-gallon batches of water. And I set up a field test station, which is on the left here. Here's a picture of John. This is actually the 300-gallon tank that is in the first prototype unit. And this is Captain Mike Chesa with the Alaska State Defense Force, who's taken a great interest in this. And there's a little 2-gallon per minute, 2-stage filtration unit, and then the chlorination equipment next to it. Captain Chesa actually brought a filling station that John had built for him. And this is Vivian Miller, one of John's grandchildren. That was demonstrating the filling point. This is where we took the test samples. And the test samples were taken into Peggy's and my son's laboratory in Fairbanks, which is a certified water laboratory, and it verified as potable water. We were very happy about that because we actually drank the water out there before we knew the answer, but we were pretty confident, so we let it rip. So the next thing is they begin assembling the first full-size prototype, and this is them working in John's shop in Delta. He's got some remarkable people that he works with that do just first-class professional aluminum welding. Anyway, they assembled it there, and this is the first fully assembled unit. And I finally figured out why John said the Hughes 500 helicopter. He happens to have a friend at Delta Junction, Keith Warren, who owns Aurora Aviation, who has, count them, 5 of these helicopters. So he takes the thing out, brings it out on his trailer behind his truck, and they lifted it off the trailer, successfully flew it. They did 2 round trips, and the pilot neatly sets it back on the trailer. Now, in the full-blown presentation, I would actually show you the videos of that, but the time given what it is, I'm going to skip the flight tests. He then hauls it into Fairbanks to custom canvas, and they put on the insulated cover. I wanted to show this one detail. This is the fill point. So coming out of the 300-gallon tank, the tap on the left is a little ball valve, and 190-degree turn, and you can fill a 5-gallon jug. The other tap is what's called a cam lock fitting. You can hook up a standard hose that's used to fill a tank on a water truck, or even the village tank if it's still standing. So this is the owner of Custom Canvas, Devlin McKee, longtime family in Fairbanks, and they built a 3-ply waterproof structure with literally an outside weatherproof canvas that can withstand 40, 50 below zero. And it has an insulated inner layer, and then it has a breathable liner on the inside. And the whole thing was built absolutely beautifully at their shop in Fairbanks. I went ahead and made up had some Rotary District 5010 logos made up, and that's what you see on the left there. And so anybody that comes up to the fill point, which is the little flap on the right, will be staring at a Rotary District 5010 logo. So this was the picture actually Mike had in his at the end of his presentation. And there's John, myself, and this is Bill Justice, who is a USPHS engineer, and each one of the regional health corporations, Bill's from Tanana Chiefs Conference in Fairbanks, actually will be the ones deploying these. A bit more on that later. So this was the completed unit. They hauled it back out, and there's Keith Warren, who is the pilot in the center of the picture here, and one of his Hughes 500 helicopters, and he lifted it beautifully off the trailer, flew it, brought it back, set it on the grass. We loaded the rest of the material, the pumps, the hoses, everything else to bring it to the full loaded weight. He flew it again, came back and set it on the trailer. And again, if you would like me to do the program for your club, I'll show you the whole set of videos. By the way, these are on the District 5010 website, thanks to Rosie. So we did a couple of pilot tests, and the first testing we wanted to do is, of course, with relatively clear water. So we took it to the Rotary Club. Fairbanks has a pathway play park site in the Tanana Lakes. And here's John bringing it in on his trailer, and we set it up, we operated it, and he added a piece of equipment to it. This is a little device that generates chlorine with table salt, water, and electricity. Chlorine is a hazardous material, and flying it into the sites could be a problem. And with this, all we need to do is bring in this piece of equipment, hook it up to the generator that would power the unit, and we can generate chlorine with table salt, food grade salt. So we tested the unit, made some modifications to the filtration system. Here's John showing this was the first water ever produced out of the unit from a lake source. Yours truly with some of the testing, and again, everything that's been done up to this point has all been donated in kind. I'm going to share more on that with you here in a moment. We did another pilot test. We, at the request of the statewide Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortiums, we came down, we were going to go to Anchorage, and there was no place and convenient location for it, but we were able to get a location at Seymour Lake in Wasilla, and we did a complete test. So John drove the unit down from Delta. Peggy and I drove down that's our RV in the background. We pulled out the awning and set up the testing station under that. And Phil and Claire Horton, tip of the hat to these guys. They donated their property on the lake, and Brenda, who you just heard from about the visioning, her and her husband Tony helped with the logistics. They live on the same lake on the other shore or the other side, and so we set it up. And here is another one of John Dufendach's many grandchildren, and Nikolai actually ran the stream generator. That's with no training. John showed him how to run it. He made all the chlorine for the test. Here he's hooking up the hose to the pump, and this time we had the full electronics modules. Everything was completely installed, and there's a little sleeve in the side you can see in the center one where Nikolai is putting the electrical cables. And then we did a full load test. And with 7.5 kW portable generator, it's got an electric heater, the lights, the pumps, everything's running, and we were successfully able to test the full load. The next day, we did the full-blown production test, and we had 15 guests from the state of Alaska Environmental Conservation, Alaska State Defense Force, Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium, another group who I had never heard of before, the Alaska State Emergency Operations Center, and the Denali Commission. The gentleman in the center to the right of Peggy is Tom Wolf with the Denali Commission at the time. He's just since retired, but he was the head of their water programs, and is the one that Joe talked to about doing the funding. And we had some other Wasilla area Rotarians that came in. So it was a great show, lots of show and tell, but we ran a full batch of water, tested it, and it worked beautifully. And people were pretty impressed by that. So I wanted to share with you just a very quick bit of the data. This slide shows the bacteria tests from the 3 tests that we did, the one in April, the one in August in Fairbanks, the one in September that was done in Wasilla. The top 2 rows, that's the raw water. The standard for coliform bacteria and Escherichia coli is 0. And all of the water, all the raw water had all of them were contaminated. You should not drink that water without boiling. The treated water passed for every test, both parameters. So that's basically what we're looking at here. And it was a really wonderful statement on the quality of the operations. So we're continuing further investigation. We had a little bit of additional fouling in the filters during the summer test. Now, again, this thing is designed for winter use, but we want to expand that window and make it available for summer. So in further investigation, we discovered what was fouling it in the summer, particular type of algae. And what you see in this picture is this is a pre-filter that we use to try and filter out that algae. It partially worked, and we're going to try an upgrade of that next spring when everything thaws out again and we've got the algae back. The next thing we're going to do is later this month, we're going to run a full-scale winter test with this unit. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. Now, one of the things that the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium recommended is, can we break this thing down and ship it in a caravan aircraft? It would have to be broken down into 4-foot by 4-foot modules and rebolted together. But they have a lot of these all over the northern part of the interior of Alaska, and it would be another way to transport it. John Dufendach, who's really good with these, says, sure, and here's the design for it. And it looks like, that's a great idea. It'd be a wonderful concept. So John built it. And I'm going to show you a picture of it here in a moment. Anyway, the deployment strategy. We are going to build 3 of the helicopter transportable units, 1 of the fixed wing, the caravan transportable units. And Rotary is basically funded this. I'm going to show you the budget here in just a second. And we're going to gift them to these 4 regional health corporations in these locations. Okay, so the status right now, the 2 remaining helicopter transportable unit frames. This was a custom canvas, part of the caravan transportable unit. This is the caravan transportable unit with the covers completed. And then showing a detail of the skid. When these are set on the ground by a helicopter, they can move them with an Argo, a four-wheeler, a truck in the community, and slide them to the appropriate location. Really, really well thought out. By the way, all of this hardware is at Delta Junction today. I just got a call from John Doofendock last night. They are doing the final assembly on everything on the 2 remaining helicopter transportable and the caravan transportable units, and they are almost ready to go. So here's the budget. Very quickly, the system design, the pilot testing, the helicopter lift testing, all of that has been donated in kind, and it's at least 112,000, and that I can tell you is low estimate. The first prototype, John Doofendock priced at 40,000. I can tell you with certainty, if we had decided to go buy one of these and gave them the specifications to some manufacturer, that would have been at 6 figures. He's selling it to us for 40,000. We took 25,000 out of excess reserves. We're raising 15,000 from the rest of the Rotary clubs. And a shout out to Rush and Jack, Sitka Rotary Club, Homer Kachemak Bay, and Susitna. We've already raised over a third of that. We're building the 2 additional units with a $100,000 grant from Denali Commission. That's already been partially dispersed. And we're going to file for a phase 2 grant for the caravan transportable unit, which is a little more expensive. And we have to deliver the units, and we're going to do a training program. And we hope to get about $25,000 of in-kind services back to the Alaska State Defense Force. They want to fly these with their Chinook helicopters into the villages for us as a training exercise. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation.
Thank you, Mike. As I told everybody, we have
we've lost your sound, Mike. You've gone mute for some reason.
How about now?
Got you now. Thank you.
I was just telling Mike how cool his project is. What a great job. And we're doing this for it in 5010. I mean, here's how great it is. In June of last year, Rotary Magazine wrote an article about water problems around the world, and they wrote about the Tuluksuk. They never bothered to ask anybody in Alaska, are you doing anything about it? So we actually wrote a letter. And if you look in your February 2022 Rotary Magazine, there's a letter to the editor from the DGE line in Alaska with Mike Paulin wrote and just said, hey guys, we're a little ahead of the curve up here. We're doing some pretty cool stuff in 5010, and we're happy to share it with the rest of the world. So just great project. Everybody in the district. I mean, that's something we all need to be proud of and tell everybody about. I just wanted to go over last couple slides. So hold on. How come it's not advancing, Dan? Mine. There we go. Diane talked about Life on Land, really cool event. Talked about zone, it runs all through Canada, through the Northeast, and actually it stands out to Bermuda. They're actually doing a life below water. If you just went to a Rotary Life on Land, this would come up, you'd be able to register for it. It would also come up and show you about the cruise. They're doing a cruise from New York to Bermuda, life below water. If we look down here where the arrow is, Diane Fegis is the chair of running this fantastic event. I've been on lots of zone calls, and you cannot believe the people that are going to be coming because we need an excuse to go to Alaska. So I hear people all the time, New Jersey is going and New York is going and upstate New York is going. There's going to be a lot of people here. It should be a fun event. So stay tuned, listen for a lot more about that. Last slide. Well, almost last slide. If you guys haven't figured it out, I'm a do it different guy. Let's do it different. Get out of the box. Anybody comes to me and says, we've always done it that way. If we change, we're going to lose people. They might be upset. It might not work. And you bring that to me and I'm going to say, I don't care. I don't care. We got to do it. You heard Jennifer talk about embrace change. Imagine a world. So I'm all for, go try it. Do it first. Ask later. If we waited for RI to get back to us for everything we wanted to try, I guarantee we would never built a water project. Polio would have never got done. Those started at club levels. There's no Rotary police. Nobody's coming over and saying, well, you know, you're supposed to dot this I and cross that T, and you crossed the T before you dotted the I, so we're not going to let you do it. Don't worry about it. Let people know what we do. We do the greatest thing. We are Mike Ferris, DGE, District 5010. Rotary is, I think, one of the greatest organizations in the world. We do so much for so many people. You heard our AGs talking about what they're doing in their groups. Multiply that by 1.2 million people across the world. Rotary is fantastic. We have to try new things. We have to get out of the box. We can't say, well, we did it this way before. We can't. Yeah, we can. We can try everything, and let's give it a thing. And I'm not saying we're breaking the law. We're doing stuff we shouldn't be doing. We have a 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We know that. As long as we're out working by those, get out of the box. Let's do new things in District 5010 and imagine Rotary and what it can be. Patty, back to you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, great. Should get off of the share screen here.
Yeah, I'm slow, but I'll get there.
No, we're good. So we've come to the part of the meeting which is scheduled for comments for the good of the order. And I'm going to take just a minute or two here of privilege. I'm still seeing a lot from Anchorage on my screen. This happened last time. Okay, I would like to thank Cheryl and Mike for their guidance and direction and vision for putting together this hybrid leadership, and what a nice turnout we've had for that. And I think it was excellent communication between them and out to the district. So thank you to them and to everybody who made reports. That makes it very interesting. Janine, technology, I was so grateful when I found out you were doing the technology piece. It was just went very, very smooth. So thank you. As the district trainer, I would like to say that I send out some periodic letters and some ideas and guidance and suggestions and information. And I don't think my list is getting to everybody. So 2 things I'd like you to do. If you have not been getting my emails, there aren't a lot of them, but there are a few, please make sure that you're allowing me to come through. I'm getting a couple of people who send me a message that says, oh, we can't take, you have to do this and that. And that once you do it, it'll be okay. And I've done it. And every time I get that message. So I need you to make sure that I can come through if you want to get the information. And secondly, my list was made up of the PEs that I knew about at the time. But if you're not getting something from me, I need to know that you are now the PE for your club. So my email address is very easy. It's P like Patty, A Merritt, MERITT @alaska.edu. And I would ask you, I'll put that in the chat, but I would ask you to please send me an email if you want to be on my list to find out what the trainer says. And other than that, we're just going to take comments for the good of the order. And we'll be finishing up here at 12 o'clock, 15 minutes, except that I think we'll stay on a few minutes longer for people who want to go back into the chat or want to have some informal conversation. So anybody have something that they would like to share for the good of the order? Mike Pollan says he didn't have enough time to thank everyone, but especially Joe Cashai and George LG, he wanted to highlight there.
And this is Brenda. I just wanted to mention, because I forgot to, we have some excess reserve money that was put aside so that we could take visioning to the clubs that are off the road system, because I know those are a little expensive. So just to let you know that those are available.
Okay, thank you. I just checked with my group here in Fairbanks and no comments here. I'd like to add one thing about the growth and learn support groups. Here in Fairbanks, we're planning to use the community college where there is a computer lab. Everybody can be on their own computer and we can have a person that will be helping and be there for technical support, but each person can go on their own. And I'd like to suggest if you have a college or a lab setup where you are, a lot of colleges have gone virtual now, and it might be a good way to access something like a large computer lab. Joe Casha, I see your hand.
Thanks. I just wanted to really commend DG Cheryl, DGE Mike, DGN Mike, and DGD Brenda. You guys have a really dynamic DG line, and I am just so happy to see how forward-looking, energetic, and innovative this DG line is. They're just moving forward with making this one of the, I think one of the very best districts in all of Rotary. We've made such a change. We've come along. At this point, we are active, we are innovative, we're actually getting stuff done. In my own senses, people stay Rotarians because it gives them a sense of actually accomplishing something positive. And, as I look down over the next 3.5, 4 years of Rotary, what I see is a very strong DG line that's really going to get stuff done and make us proud to be Rotarians. We're not going to be Rotarians in name only, or just going to lunch every noon or whatever. So I really just want to make a really big shout out to that incredible DG line that's out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So I can only see about half of the people. I'm looking to see if I see any hands up. More comments. Moving to the other screen. Anything else for the good of the order?
I would just like to thank everybody who has given up their Saturday morning to be in on this meeting. We tried really hard to keep it succinct, and I was hopeful that we wouldn't go over, and we certainly did not. But thank you to each and every one of you, either at a watch party or online. I greatly, and I know I can speak on behalf of the other district governors, we thank you for being a part of this meeting.
So with that, I think we'll officially, Ted Trueblood, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, I was just waving at Cheryl, but every time I hear Mike Pollan talk about that water project, I'm just so amazed at the level of diligence and energy and thinking out of the box that has occurred. And it is a world-class project. It's our district is going to get a lot of recognition because this is a great project.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
I know my club is hoping that things are going to be able to go international at some point with all the water projects that we've supported in Africa. I saw Kate Ripley. I don't know if that was a goodbye wave. Maybe it was a goodbye wave. And I see Joe Cashai, and I saw Peggy Pollan. I don't know if that was a goodbye wave.
I was just going to make a quick comment following up on Ted. The water project was something that actually started with your suggestion, Patty, last meeting a year ago today, that we do something. And I think it was just a really good exemplar of the notion that really good projects come at you. You just need to be willing or able to recognize them when they're there, rather than, and shift your focus, shift your target, rather than just staying, fixated on the prior thing. It just talks about the desirability of being able to be agile and jump on something quickly when all the forces come together, even if it's not part of the original plan. And the entire DG line was really good about jumping on all that and shifting focus very quickly to something big and doable in a short time. So again, thank you to everybody there.
It's very funny to me that I get any credit at all for inspiring this water project, because all I was talking about was they want bottled water. Can Rotary help give bottled water?
Well,
And
Yes.
clearly that was not the answer. So thank
Well-
goodness to other people who,
Well,
who knew
you know,
what to do.
what it came down to though was, it was like somebody should do something about this. And as Cheryl has learned, and Mike will learn soon enough, the DG is the designated somebody.
And past DG, Peggy Pollen, I thought I saw your hand. I don't know if you were waving goodbye.
No, I just wanted to thank you for putting on this meeting and everybody who helped out, Janine and the whole group. Really appreciate it, but Mike does have his little technical hand up, I guess.
Mike, yes, I see it up there. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for all the kind comments from everybody. And Patty, once again, you were the inspiration for this. You should know. Somebody plants a seed of an idea, and those of us who were on the chat last year remember this, and it rocketed back and forth, and it didn't take very long from that. But the support we've had from the Rotary clubs, the interest we've had from goodness sakes, it's happening from not just in Alaska, but we're getting inquiries from well around the Rotary universe and elsewhere. Somebody, it might have been Joe, I wasn't sure if you mentioned it, but we were talking about other organizations in the state that were interested in this project. And you should know that we were contacted by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which has received a fairly large block of money. It's 8 figures. And it's literally was to ship bottles of water into villages that had water disasters in Alaska. And somebody intervened, and I want to say Brenda Hewitt had a piece of this, and said, you need to talk to Rotary. And they did. They got a hold of us, and I shared what we were doing with the manager of this program in Alaska, and he came back with an email and he says, Mike, we'd like to buy 8 of these from Rotary. And I says, they're not for sale from Rotary, but you can contact John Dufadock at Camp Water. It'll be a commercial unit later on. And I think you're going to see something like this deployed throughout much of rural Alaska before it's all done.
And maybe elsewhere in the US and areas too. The funny thing is, Mike, with $20 million worth of plastic water bottles littering the landscape, they'll have created an EPA Superfund cleanup by the time they're done with BIA. But carpet bombing all these poor villages with bottles of frozen water. It'll be, there'll be a war crimes trial by the time BIA got done with $20 million worth of frozen bottled water.
All right, so I'm really glad that my suggestion didn't go through. Yes.
Patty, one last comment.
Andre has a comment.
Can I have one last one while he's coming up? And this is to all the clubs. We're about $4,500 short in our fundraising for the water project. If your club is interested in donating, you can get hold of Mike, and I'm sure he can lead you in the right direction. On that note, bye, everybody. It was great to see you.
This is Andre. I just wanted to recognize Leslie Young, who's in the audience with us here in Fairbanks this morning. Leslie is a new Rotarian that's been in our club for just over 2-3 months now. And she, on her own, said she was going to come to this meeting today. And she sat through the whole thing. I think she's learned a lot. It's just marvelous seeing a new Rotarian interested enough about what Rotary looks like in all of Alaska, and she's going to make a great Rotarian. So thank you, Leslie, for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you. That's really fun. Okay, with that, I think we're going to officially sign off, and a couple of us will hang in here so you can continue with the chat for a few minutes, probably another 5 or 10. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.